I've not used this before, so I'm just trying it out.
We've been gone, but now we're back. This is my boy Gazz, and I'm Xaz, and we are doing Gazz Xaz STS, or as we like to call it around here, shoot the shit. I feel a bit shit, I gotta say, unfortunately, because we've started a live right when the Retro Tinker is doing a premiere. So everyone jump over to the Retro Tinker's channel and go check out his premiere, and then come back here where we're going to be talking about comic books. We were backstage with our guest, who I'll introduce in a minute. And we did a complete Muppet number. If only we had recorded it. We'll say hi to the chat real quick. And then for the last time, guys, we're going to throw up our members and Patreon names and say a special thank you to them. Stephen, greetings, Gazz Xaz and all. Joe Recondo saying, let's go. The Retro Tinker saying, woo, let's go. That's right, let's go over to the Retro Tinker's channel and check out his premiere. There's a bald G.I. Joe event happening for the month of March, put together by our good friend Kiwi Customs and Creations. So I'm gonna do something as well sometime during this month. Nunzi is here. Have a fantastic show, guys. I'll catch up tonight after work. He's got to work. You got to work. If you got to work, you got to work. Hey, how are you, buddy? Good to see you again. Everyone's names has changed. We know him as Pericles, but he's come up here as J.R. Carter, which sounds like he's got all fancy, hasn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It used to be Pericles, but now I am J.R. Carter, or is it Junior Carter?
You just call him J.R. Ellis.
Oh, hello there. Hey. All right, so we're going to do, where is it? I got it here somewhere. We're going to say one final thank you to those that have been a Clubhouse member or a Patreon supporter. Patreon's still around for a little bit, but I'm going to actually deactivate Patreon as well. That'll be happening this month. So, let's go. Who have we got? Clubhouse Roll Call, Michael Mercy, Casey Wheeler, Ratface44 Reviews, Handsome Man Ratface, we call him around these parts, The Retro Tinker, that's our mate Nate, Sonny is Sundries, Jonathan Sorensen, who I wanted to catch up with, but I just could not get my timing right, Joshua Allen, Adam from GoFinger, far out, Adam from GoFinger, Phil, Curses my drink, Hans Chow, Brandon Haley, Jason, Marcus West Commander, uh-oh,
Adam from Go Finger.
Anyway, and our members, Gaz, that's you, Beta Ray, Bob, Spacey pulling double duty, Jason Stillwell, Ryan Sweeney, that's Kiwi Customs, G.I. Joe Collections we were talking about before, Joe Fan 84, Lilith, Fast Rider, Commander Unicron, Woodman 29, Nate the Retro Tinker, Duffman Dioramas, Keep on Collecting, and our members in spirit, Cindy K. I want to thank everybody who has been a member in the past as well, and also a Patreon supporter as well. Thank you so much for everyone that has supported the channel. We're going in a different direction, but that's okay. We're still going to be here. We're still going to be going live. We're still going to be having fun. Speaking of fun, let's bring in our guest of honor, Hans Chow, because we're talking comic books, and no one knows comic books better than our boy Hans Chow, the artiste with the meest? I don't know. Then we've got our boy Ken Poe coming in with a title. There might be a title match happening. and our buddy from Go Finger himself, Adam. Oh boy, I am sorry about that. I apologize.
I've been called.
It's true. It's true, and that might happen tonight.
I've been called
a
worse,
new
but not
meme.
by anybody better.
Well, thanks. You get a special hey, just for you. Special hey, just for you. So we're talking comic books today. I wanted to actually talk about the state of comic book collecting in Australia. And I'll show you this picture. This is a picture of a picture, so it doesn't look that great. This is little old me with a collection. You can't really make it out, but a collection of comic books that I had on my bed. And I was big on collecting comics. My mum bought all of these comics. I had no paper route or nothing to buy these, but mum bought them all. You can also see, you kind of just see Hero magazine, which I also really, really liked, as well as Wizard magazine. Now, the thing about Australia and comic books back then was you could find just about all of the comic books you wanted in even an outback desert newsagents. Right, they had a comic rack and everything that you could spin around, and they were all the comics you could think of. Right, blew my mind. I was like, okay, cool. Because I started off, I think, collecting Ninja Turtles from Archie, and then started picking up some Spider-Man and some Marvel, and it just blew up from there. And so the late '80s, early '90s, I really started to go all in on comic books. And so when we moved from the desert into the big city. Yeah, true. Didn't always have a beard. Back when I used to have one chin. So we moved to the big city, and there was a commercial on the TV for a place called Quality Comics, and I later found out that this ad was used worldwide, and they just put at the end, you would just tag your own store in it, but it had Lobo saying, "These ain't your daddy's comic books, fanboy," and I was like, whoa, okay, I'm going to go and check out this place called Quality Comics. So I hopped on a train, I went into the city, went into a basement, which is always the best place to find comic books, and there were walls and walls and center racks and everything of all the comic books you could possibly want, and I was blown away. Woodman, how are you, buddy? I was absolutely blown away. So now I've got a dedicated place to pick up comic books, back issues, right? I started collecting What If Marvel comics, and that would give me a sense of what stories I should go back and look for, because it would be an alternate version of those stories, right? So I would go into Quality Comics and I would flip through the comic books and try and find that run so I knew how the original story went. So I started picking up back issues. I was just spending all the pocket money on this stuff, right? All the pocket money. And then as it hit the late 90s and moved out of home and had responsibilities, I sort of got out of comic books. Now, it wasn't until a bit later where I was like, you know what, I want to see what was happening with comic books now. And I realized that I couldn't find them in the newsagents anymore. The only comic books I could find were The Phantom, which you still can find in newsagents here in Australia. But all the comic racks are gone. To this day, gone. They're not in the newsagents anywhere. It is a difficult place to find comic books in Australia. You go to the airport, no comics. And they used to be able to find at least a stack of comics at the airport. Nothing. I went back to Perth recently, went to find Quality Comics, which was in a basement, and I just described how awesome it was. Now, it's moved, and it's like a little pop-up shop, and all the comic books in it are the recent reprints of comics. So not even back issues anymore. They're just new reprints. And it's like, what has happened to the state of comic book collecting here in Australia? So, because we have a smorgasbord of, I'm not saying that word correctly, of international guests today, I would love to know how it is around your areas as far as comic books are concerned.
Wow. I guess you could just move to Canada. You know, you could bounce between the West Coast and the East Coast, and we'll just get your whole comic fix. I don't know how it is for you, Adam, but for me, we have shops here, not as many as before, but you can get your issues, you can get your back issues, you get boxes of back issues, you get shows. There's stuff to do, there's stuff to find. Let's put it that way.
See, here in the U.S., as far as I can tell, the only place to really get comics is a comic shop. And I think you have like a selection of mostly like graphic novels and stuff at like a bookstore like Barnes and Noble. Other than that, they're not in drugstores anymore.
Right.
Walmart doesn't have them, and it doesn't have them. It could easily change if they just went to like, if Walmart and Target started picking them up and put them in a little section. You'd have there'd be more around.
As a kid, I think I had a unique experience because I lived in a small town in northern Ontario. So it gets pretty remote there. There was 2,000 people in our town, and we were an hour and a half away from Thunder Bay, which in the grand scheme of things is a small town. But to us, it was the big city. We go there sometimes when we want to go to Zellers. But if you wanted comic books, again, like you say, you save up your pocket money and you would ride your bike down. We had 2 corner stores and a pharmacy and a grocery store that all had comic racks. So you go down, hey, Largo, you go to either the corner store called the Cow Palace and you check out their comic rack first. Then you go down to Mike's Mart, check out their comic rack. Then you go to Fold's Pharmacy and check out what they had. And then you went to Zechner's, which is a grocery store, and they had a comic spinner rack as well. But I remember going to Thunder Bay one time and going to my first comic book store, I think in 1990. And so I was like maybe 9, 10 years old, wanting to read more comics because I remember I got caught reading comics in school one time. I had some, actually it was like the Sectars. I had Sectars comics, that short run, which I would just read again and again and again.
Was that Marvel?
Yeah, that was a Marvel thing. But so my teacher caught me reading these comic books, and so they got angry and told my dad and mom, like, "Oh, we caught Adam reading comic books." And I remember my dad coming to the school and being like, "Did you like, Adam, were you reading comic books in class today?" And I was like, "Yes, Dad, I was." And he's like, "Great." And he went to my teacher and he's like, "Why are you angry at my son for reading? Like, he's reading, and as long as he's reading, I don't care what he's reading." So my parents were always open to buying me comic books. And so when I went to Thunder Bay, I want to go check out. I heard rumors of a comic book store, and you went there for the first time, and I remember being like so overwhelmed because you just saw rows and rows of back issues. You saw, I used to think that having a spinner rack was a lot of options, but you'd see walls of comics that were released, and you also saw like action figures and posters and hats and stuff that you never saw before, and you're like, wait, like what? And so it was like this overwhelming thing, but you didn't want to stand out at like 9 or 10 years old, like, oh, so you're just trying to like play it really cool. I remember like leaving with a handful of Captain Americas, a handful of,
nice,
and a couple other random stuff, and I just walking out happy but with so much regret, where I was like, I wish I could have just turned everybody's eyes off and let me just look and experience what this was, because it's so overwhelming. But fast forward to now. And, you got to go to comic book stores really to get this stuff. It's not anywhere. But I think it's such a weird thing that when we were growing up, I remember having like Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and like even the Marvel trading cards, right? And you have those in school, and you'd be made fun of. You were ridiculed for being a comic book nerd. Like, who are the only losers like Spider-Man? Like, yeah, it was crazy. Right now, our entire culture loves comic book characters. Like, my mom knows who Dormammu is, and like that's
thank you, MCU.
Right? Like, just like TV shows. Like, I remember mom was like, "Oh, you watching Arrow, Adam?" I'm like, of course I'm watching Arrow, Mom. Like, why wouldn't I watch? I've been wanting an Arrow show forever. And so our culture, our society, is way more aware and hungry for these characters and love them more than ever. But finding their original content is harder than ever, and it just makes no sense to me. You think it'd be a no-brainer to have a comic book spinner rack in a grocery store next to the checkouts, right?
Yeah, particularly because we are so comic book movie heavy right now, and have been for over a decade now. It doesn't make any sense. But Hans, you and I believe, we're digging through some Spider-Man 2099 comics at that store during Joe Fest. Can't remember what that store was called. But what is the climate like for comic book collecting where you are?
When I was younger, okay. So first of all, it's rubbish. So there's nothing. All right. Everybody in Trinidad and Tobago is interested in manga, and while I do appreciate manga as a comic book, there's like it's two different words for a reason. One is manga, one is comics. I find manga, traditionally it's in black and white, and that's a huge distinction. Also, I find these stories tend to run forever. as opposed to comic books, which have like arcs and then they finish. So maybe in like 12 issues, you'll finish an arc, or 4 issues, or whatever. So down here, I'm starting to see manga appear in our normal bookstores. But if you're looking for comic books, you're not going to find any. It's just not something people are interested in anymore. When I was younger, you'd go to a grocery store or a pharmacy and you'd find 2 types of books. You'd find Conan, heavy metal. Actually, 3 types of books: Conan, heavy metal, and mad comics. I don't really love. I don't really like heavy metal, and the reason why is because the storylines tend to be pretty inconsistent, and they're a little too horny. Come on, you don't. It doesn't need.
It's a little too horny for Hans.
A little too horny for everybody, I think. Sexuality should serve the story. It shouldn't be the other way around. The other thing is Conan, and where my love for Conan started there. But when I first saw Conan book, I was 8 years old. I remember the issue very, very graphically, and the reason why is because he chopped the trunk off a mammoth and they ate that for dinner, and I remember that. I remember a bunch of other things about the book, but I was like, oh, that's a really cool book. And then there was Mad Magazine, which I still hate today. I
really, you hate it?
I can't stand. Listen, I have a problem with any media. Like, satire is fine, but they make fun of everything. Nothing is sacred, and it's kind of like, it's like that one friend. They're fun sometimes, but most of the time, it's kind of like, all right, I'm not in the mood for you, Mad.
I think I'm that friend.
Sorry, Hans, I can leave.
No. Well, okay. So my father-in-law loves Mad magazines. He has like a huge collection of those books, and he used to read them all the time, and that's where his humor was. So
right. Yeah, well, I used to. I didn't pick up Mad Magazine every. I'll talk a bit quieter because Nate says I'm too loud. I'll talk like this, like a radio. But I was such a Marvel fanboy that I would pick up any Mad magazine that also had like a superhero theme to it, and that speaks more to my love of Marvel comics than it does to Mad magazine. But I like the Simpsons gag where Homer's trying to fold the back of the Mad magazine, and instead of coming together and saying the almighty dollar, he's like, almighty dollar. I get it, idiot.
They only do those 4 times a year now anyway. The Mad magazine.
Yeah,
it was taken over by Warner.
Yeah, it's a
okay.
Yeah, it kind of lost its edge to what it used to be. Yeah,
they can do it once a year. I find they should do it once a year.
Yeah, just do it annual.
Yeah, Hans, thank you for mentioning the Conan comics. That sparked like a hidden memory when we went camp. So we used to go camping for like 3-4 weeks in the summer. We had one of those campers that would go in the back of a truck. So my dad had a big camper in the back. We'd go out, and up north it's all crown land. So we'd go out to this like peninsula and we'd go fishing and camp for 3-4 weeks. And so we were in Thunder Bay getting like stuff ready, and we stopped. Oh, let's go get some comic books to read on the camping trip. I found there was like a bin of the oversized black and white Conan comics.
Nice.
And so they were in a bin for like $2. I was like, oh, you can get some of those because I liked, the movies and Beastmaster and stuff. So I grabbed three or four of those. But then they just stayed in the camper. So for 3 weeks a year, I'd just like read over those. And then
that's cool.
Leave them in the camper. Then the next summer, I'd be like, oh, these books. And you read over them again. And so it became like, oh, I get to hang out with Conan for 3 weeks. Just, an unbelievable thing. But also, I remember as a kid, when I went to that comic book store for the first and second time, realizing that comics were stories about comic characters, but they're also like doorways into like extending. They were almost like free range to tell stories you wanted to hear. So like Aliens versus Predator, which was like a pipe of people. You can see that there.
Yeah.
I remember buying a bunch of these Planet of the Apes comics. It was like, oh, there's more stories about these properties that I love. And it's almost like, it's not that they didn't count, but it's almost like, yeah, it's not official, but these are where it could go. And so there's, it was a way to extend stuff that we loved as well as read about our comic book characters.
That's why I started picking up those Archie Ninja Turtle comics because they started off just like mimicking the cartoon, but then they branched out and started coming up with their own stories. Like they ended up going to space and wrestling and stuff. I never did see the original Ninja Turtle comics in stores, so I only had the Archie comics versions. But I thought they were really good. I liked them. I don't know if they hold up today. I need to maybe go back and revisit it, but I liked them.
I didn't have many comics growing up, but my sisters did have a substantial Archie collection, and that got me into reading a lot. Like I don't know. I didn't understand when you. This is not look. This if this is a boast, it's the stupidest, nerdiest boast. But I read really fast and I read a lot. But I didn't realize how. Skill. Well, that's the kicker, right? It's like you don't really. If you're doing, it's like Superman thinks of flying as just normal, right? But like I read a lot. Like I read like a novel a week, and that's like a lot of people don't really do that sort of stuff, right? Yeah, but to
you would have to speed read to get a novel a week in.
Well, it depends on like that. Anyway, whatever. The bottom line is I liked reading Archie when I was young, and they had this massive collection of hundreds of books because my parents loved my sisters more. Anyway, and so I was just reading through all the books, right?
That's for another conversation.
When I was a little bit older, I asked because I still have because they were so rare. Like they threw away all my toys, but they kept like all my comics. So I have my first comic that my parents gave me. Anyway, whatever. They really were happy, just the same as with you guys, like that I was reading. So they were willing to like bend the rules and just let me read whatever. So my mom got me a comic. Can you guess? Not in a million years will any of you guess what this book was?
Vampirella.
All right.
Foxtrot.
So no
Vampira.
No, and Gazz. Just throw it out there.
Lady.
Just throw it. Throw it far. Throw it far from where those guys threw it.
Did you get Mickey Mouse comic book? Like Donald Duck? No.
Scrooge. They were around everywhere. What? I'm gonna solo you. There you go.
Marvel Comics, The Life of Pope John Paul II. That is Spider-Man in the corner, my friend.
Damn.
On the back is an advertisement for basketball, whatever the hell that is.
Holy
Flea cards, yeah, flea cards, yeah.
Oh, here's
hey, Joe, hey, come, buddy.
And the price
Thank you, Joe.
Later, Joe. This is $1.50.
He's at the book on.
I must have read this book 1 billion times, right?
That's amazing.
Times. And then
and we thought Superman versus Wonder Woman was cool.
It was Pope John Paul. It was Pope John Paul II. And like, I'm scared.
Did you ever get the first, or you only got the second?
I only got the second. The first one wasn't in publication at the time.
Fair enough.
Is he like fighting aliens or something?
No, he was just being born and then becoming a priest and then becoming pope and then he got shot. You know, it's just, you know.
Just regular comic book stuff.
Just regular comic stuff. And there were Nazis. Regular comic stuff, you know? But,
he wasn't Morph or anything like that from X-Men.
No, it's just, but that was my first comic. And when I was younger, I would copy faces and stuff from the Archie books, and I'd try to draw from there. And I look back and it's kind of horrendous body proportions, but you know, yeah. The other book, you know, anyway, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think too, there's a difference when you're figuring out what comic books are and getting into it. I remember for me, there was a distinct moment where I was just like reading one-off comics and just loving it, and like, oh, this is the Captain America story. I'll read it. I'll love it. This is a Batman. And then the first story where I was aware I needed to, like, it's happening. It's not a back issue. I need to keep up with it. And that was the summer of '93 when it was the reign of the Superman. So Superman had died.
Oh, yes.
I still have my original Reign of the Superman comics, and occurring concurrently was Batman's Nightfall.
Exactly.
Yes, and you're just like, so you always had something to read. It's like, which Superman is actually the Superman? Because they led you to believe it was this guy.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. And then Nightfall, you're trying to get used to this new Batman, John Paul Valley. Adam, I did not know that we had like the same summer of '93, the exact same summer of '93. You read the same two books I read.
Well,
love it.
Well, the death of Superman was such a big event that even I had to pick up that comic to see what was going to happen.
But there was 4 books because there was Action Comics, there was Man of Steel, there was Superman, and there was Superman and Tomorrow. Yeah,
No,
the
there was
Adventures of
Superman.
Superman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Superman
yeah.
from Tomorrow came later. Man of Tomorrow
Right.
came later.
But it was over 4 books. And so nobody, and again, because I was in Northern Ontario and I was, there was no other guys that were like, oh, let's all read comics together. So I didn't know that like Wednesday was comic book day and these things came out. So it was like, I read a comic book and then every day I would go to like do the runs. Who's got a comic? What's in, what's new. And it was just kind of like, oh, they got one. And so again, and you go down there and there's no, and I remember distinctly, Ken, it's funny you mentioned Batman Nightfall. I remember having like, you had your pocket money and I was like, I don't know when the next Superman book is coming out, but I have enough money right now. I can get this Batman Nightfall book, which also looks, and so do I spend the money today on Batman and risk not having it? What if Man of Steel comes out tomorrow and I don't get to read it, right? But then I remember the final book came out and it had Superman in the black suit on the cover,
Right.
and everyone was flying around him. And I was like, this is it. And I bought it. And it was like, you read it and it was concluded. And at the end, he had the mullet, but he was like Superman again. And I was like, this is great. And then I went back 3 weeks later and it was out again with a foil metal cover.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, do I buy I think that was my first time. I was like, do I buy the same thing I already have? Because it's a variant.
It was like $1 or $2 more too, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And right before that, remember they did the Green Lantern crossover where they destroyed Coast City.
Yeah,
I had to ask my mom, like, "Hey, this is a little different." She's like, "Why do you need another book this week?" I'm like, "Because it's a crossover. It's the same story, but it's told from his perspective." And that was kind of the genesis of the Parallax character that would start later on. I didn't realize you and I were experiencing the same thing, the same summer, same 2 titles of books.
Yeah, well, and you came right off of like you were watching Lois and Clark on TV. So like in the zeitgeist, right?
The reason they did Death of Superman was because of Lois and Clark.
Yeah,
they were going to marry Lois and Clark in the comics, but they were doing it in the show, so we can't do it. What do we do? Some I don't know, it was a writer or artist in the background said it every time. They used to get together at comic, I think San Diego, and they would meet. And I don't know if it's San Diego. I remember hearing the story. They would meet and they would talk about the stories for that upcoming year, what they were going to do. And every year, this guy were like, "Let's just kill him. Let's just kill him." So when they asked, "Well, we can't marry him. What do we do?" And they say, "Let's just kill him.
Let's just kill him."
It started with Jason Todd and Jean Grey, and went crazy after that.
I was, I guess, 12 that summer, and then the following year, Kenner came out with the Man of Steel action figures, and I remember being like, I can't buy these because I'm too old for action figures, but these are the reign of the Superman action figures, like. And they were so good. And then there was like the Wizard mail away Eradicator figure that you could get if you made. So I was like,
I never got that one. Yeah.
I was like,
I remember debating, debating with
How are you, buddy? Yo,
we were talking about the reign of Superman, and we were trying to figure out which one was Superman.
Yeah,
because they made you believe it. And then, like, one guy's like, it's Eradicator, and I'm like, no, it's the one that looks like Superman.
Yeah,
before he turned into robot Superman or cyborg Superman.
Yes, the cyborg one. I liked Steel. I don't think the movie was great, but Steel was pretty cool. It was a good looking design.
He was the tribute Superman, though. Yeah,
that was the one that you knew that wasn't Superman. Kind of.
Yeah, said he wasn't, right?
Yeah. So because they were saying he was like, I'm not really Superman, I was convinced he was going to get the title.
Yeah.
Like, Phil. Hey, Phil. I was convinced he was going to be the guy that took over the book, and he was going to become the main character.
And Connor Kent did not want to be called Superboy. He freaked out every time you called
him Superboy. Yeah. He had a great look, though. I love the jacket, the haircut.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I was a Superboy guy all the way. Like just
the glasses. He was, Hollywood.
Then he got rid of all that. Like I remember reading Infinite Crisis.
Oh, it's just a t-shirt and jeans now.
I was like, oh, what's this?
Nice.
So, yeah, and then they killed him off in the fight with Superboy Prime. And I was like, oh, but I like this guy. So.
Yeah, no, I was Reign of Superman. I think was what made me fall in love with the entire comic book process, the lore, the way it's coming out cinematically. Like that's what I loved. Comic book characters. I loved superheroes. I loved like the Planet of the Apes and the Sectors and all that stuff.
Mm.
But
what they did,
waiting for the next thing and talking with my buddies about it at the playground. Like, oh, like, what do you think is going to happen? I love that.
But what they did to Superman after that was BS.
I don't want to talk about Electric Superman.
Exactly. We don't want to talk
Red
about
and blue.
No.
Well,
then.
Same with you, Adam. I was, but with Marvel, my first foray into needing to collect every issue and every crossover. I think the first one was Execution of Song, where I had to get X Factor, X Force, Uncanny X-Men. I had to get all of those ones just to make sure. I had to get special buy-in for, I think it was Excalibur. They weren't having Excalibur in our newsagent, so I had to ask them to bring it in. The same with Maximum Carnage. I needed to have every book that had anything to do with Maximum Carnage. But that's how it's especially in the 90s. That's how they really got you to buy all the books, right? All those crossovers.
That's what
Superman was weekly. 4 titles. Every week you had one. Batman had Batman in the Detective Comics, right?
Yeah.
Everyone go check out Nate's premiere. It's happening right now. Let's all go. Let's just play it right here.
Just pull up a screen.
Hey Lilith, how are you, buddy?
Hey Lilith.
That's one of the reasons why I stopped reading Marvel in DC, because when was it 94? Was it 94 that they created Image? 94, right?
Oh, I was going to bring that up. How great was that event? That blew things up.
I was
92, I think, but 94 they had the Spawn toys.
Yeah.
It was 92 then. It was 92. It was 92, 93, right around there. Because Jim Lee redid the X-Men in like 92, didn't he? Yeah. Is that the launch of 92?
So when I was
91, I think.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, well, not a kid, like in that 93 era. So after that summer of the reign of Superman, and I was like all about DC, I was in. That Christmas, well, actually that year at my church, they did this thing where they did like a pen pal thing between young kids and like seniors in the church. And it was like, oh, let's just like partner up and write letters to each other and encourage each other. And at Christmas time, I got a gift, and it was anonymous. And then at the end of the year, you were like, oh, it was John had you. Okay. I got a stack of X-Men comics from him as a Christmas gift from this guy I didn't know. And I remember being like, oh, I was excited, but I was like, oh, they're not DC. But then I started reading through, and I was like, this is incredible. It was that like real in the middle of the 90s X-Men run. And that's what got me into like the X-Men toys and the show and everything. Was that was the gateway.
I was heavy into X-Men.
Yeah.
And in that 91 year when Jim Lee like redid it, when they came out with like one.
Yeah,
I was
the
reading
most sold copy of every. I think it was the most. Yeah, it was the most. It was the highest selling issue #1 ever.
I was reading X-Force. I didn't read New Mutants, but when X-Force came out, I read that. I was like into that. X Factor.
Yeah.
And X-Men, and then they did X-Men and Uncanny X-Men. So I was reading all 4 of those books, and then they created Image. And I found out Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri, we're going there over there, and I'm like. These are my favorite artists, so I'm gonna go follow them. And then as I'm reading Image, Cyberforce, Wildcats, Pit, all that kind of stuff, I started winning off of Marvel because I was starting to get aggravated with Marvel because of all the crossovers, and they were coming out.
What was that? What was that character that they copied to make it look like Spawn that premiered in the Spider-Man Maximum Carnage series? Death Watch, maybe. Oh, he had the cape and he had like a black hood. What was his name? Lilith would know. But they made it look exactly like Spawn.
Also, that Clone Saga wasn't very good, so everybody jumped over to...
yeah, that too. But how cool was that Pit cartoon? My God, that was great.
I love the clone stuff. So Scarlet Spider is my favorite version of Spider-Man.
Oh, Ben Reilly.
When he dies and he says to Peter, just tell your boy that Uncle Ben loves him. I'm like, oh, come on.
Heartstrings. Getting pulled up. Death Watch.
Yeah.
Lilith got
Death Watch. Thank you. I knew it. What did I say?
You said Death's Head.
Death's Head too.
Oh, is this him right here? Oh, wait. No. Put me off the screen. I don't have the picture up yet.
Okay.
I'm looking for it. I just had an image of it. It's telling me it was Angel. Oh my God. Ugh. Look at that dude.
Hang on.
Bonnie.
Yeah, I think he looks cool, but obviously he's a rip-off of Spawn.
I wonder
They ended up They ended up changing his look dramatically after that. After they made their point.
I weighed off of Marvel. I said no more Marvel. I couldn't handle all the crossovers. Felt like they were coming out crossovers. Like every time they finished one, they did another one.
Well, because Age of Apocalypse was huge around that time.
Oh, it was massive. But it was just like it was too much because they kept adding more books. They kept adding more titles. So instead of having like we went from like Uncanny X-Men to Uncanny X-Men and X-Men. And then there was another X-Men, I think it was. Then you had X-Force, X-Factor. And before it was just Uncanny, X-Factor, and New Mutants, right? I think those are the three books. So if they did a crossover between them, it was just between the three books. So you just go
and Excalibur.
Oh, and Excalibur, yeah. And then all of a sudden it turned up to be like 8 books, and you're like, it's too much.
And then there was X-Man, who came over from the Age of Apocalypse line.
Then Wolverine.
Yeah.
And Wolverine.
Wolverine was a great comic, though.
Wolverine was a great comic, but he was in everything. He was in X-Men.
Not then, not really. Not then.
Yeah, he was in everything.
There was for a while Marvel did a comic book thing. It was one of the first non-X-Men books I bought, but it was a Wolverine book. But it was it was a Wolverine cover.
Yeah.
You flipped it over.
Yes.
Then it was a Ghost Rider cover.
I had the flip book.
What was the name of that book? They did that with Cloak and Dagger and Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
But
that was the gateway to Ghost Rider.
Yeah. But you don't do anymore. I don't think they do that stuff anymore. They don't do like these little sub stories with like low level characters.
Yeah.
They did a really cool X-Force comic that featured Spider-Man that was all landscape. Like everything was, you had to hold it like, how did they do it? Like it was all you had to flip the book.
Flip it 90 degrees.
Yeah. So not landscape, the other way. Because the comics are by definition, I guess, landscape, right?
No.
What do I know?
Comics are portrait, right?
Yes, Lilith. We were just talking about what if before.
Yeah.
Well, we have a comic expert right above me.
That's right.
They're done. What was it? Left to right?
Manga?
Right?
Yeah, they're left to right. No, they're right to left.
And they go in a Z
landscape is the long way, and then portrait is the tall way. So yeah.
Right, you had to flip the book anyway. That was pretty cool. Yeah. But I was saying before, Lilith, that what if issues are what got me to look for back issues of comics so I could find out how the original story went, which I thought was pretty cool. What was that one with the
Elseworlds?
Elseworlds were cool too. But Spider-Man would die all the time in the What If comics. If Spider-Man was in it, you knew he wasn't going to make it.
Yeah.
I only read a handful of those.
Guys, since I can't stay long, you have to talk about Kingdom Come, please.
Oh, I have my favorite DC story.
It is like the best DC story for me as well.
Yeah. I don't think it's perfect. Perfect story. Our aged heroes and the new guys coming in. So it's kind of like Marvel. It's kind of like a version of Marvel versus DC, like old DC versus Marvel. The upstart. All the characters were intense, extreme. And you have an old Superman who's kind of retired. He turned his back on everybody because of what happened, and he did something that he said he would never do. Went against his morals, and he killed the Joker. Right? I believe he plucked his heart out because he killed Lois Lane. Not just Lois Lane, but everybody in the Daily Planet. And
Jimmy Olsen, yeah,
what a great story. And then the art was just fantastic.
Alex Ross.
Yeah.
Alex Ross and Mark Waid together.
And when I first saw it, I'm like looking at it, I'm like, wow, this guy draws awesome. And I didn't know back then it was all painted. Yep. I'm just thinking it's drawing.
There was a few years there where he was just like untouchable. Like Alex Ross was the gold standard of what a comic book was.
He was doing Marvels. He was on the cover of every Wizard magazine, Hero magazine.
For a little time, for me, he topped Jim Lee. Mm-hmm. I was like, this guy's awesome.
He still is untouchable.
And then Hush came out, right?
Yeah.
So,
Then what?
He still is.
Hush.
Yeah. He still is untouchable because everybody else is just copying him.
Yeah,
no one is found a way.
Do you not find it's a bit much? Like it gets really rich after you read a lot of Alex Ross. It just gets very visually really rich. It's like having too much chocolate.
That's it. That's like the book you read, and then
I love it too much to
you just
fill
look
up
at
on.
it. You just look at the pictures and you're like, this is great.
Alex Ross also did some giant books
Yep.
That was like Superman, Peace on Earth, Wonder Woman, Hope in the World. Like,
Batman War on Crime. I have War on Crime, Batman. I love that one.
Yeah,
it's so good.
They're so good.
Yeah.
When I first read his name in Wizard magazine, I thought they were saying Axl Rose. Like, I misread it. I was like, man, this guy is talented. He's got fronting a band, and he can paint like this. This is fantastic. And then I went back and read it again. I was like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't tell anyone I thought this, right?
No, you were just
I could have got
Child of Mine in the background while reading Kingdom Come. Right? Yeah. As Azel's rocking out, then he rereads the name. Wait a minute.
There's a question for you. Super duper fan of the Sea Lions.
Ooh.
This is Christopher DeZira's childhood one that he sold me at Joe Fest. So I said I would take good care of it. He said this is the one he had as a kid. So I'm like, okay. Yeah, I felt bad. I didn't pay the full asking price. And he tells me after I hand him the cash. I'm just like, oh, come on.
You shortchanged him on his own childhood toy?
He didn't tell me till after. He's like, yeah, this is my childhood one. I'm just like, I guess like, oh, yeah, they're $50, you know?
So let me ask you a question, because I know we're gonna lose Ken. We're gonna lose Ken in a little bit.
10-15 minutes here.
Yeah. So let me ask you: are any of you reading comics now? And if so, what are you reading? Now I can start off real quick, because I can just show you what I'm reading, and it's not Marvel. I'm reading like G.I. Joe.
Nice. Yes.
The only non-G.I. Joe comics I'm reading, and this is gonna shock a couple of you guys. It's going to shock a couple of you guys. It's going to shock one of you guys. So one of them, the non, is the Flash Gordon series, which is excellent.
Nice.
Epic.
Here's the other one. This is going to shock you. Hold on.
It's the Pope.
Adam from Go Finger. Brace yourself.
Vampirella.
No.
Oh, Young Blood.
Nice.
And let me just say this. Now, and I'll freely admit it. I wasn't a huge fan of his art. I mean, I did jump in to the X-Force, and I did like it then, but then somehow after that, there's something happened to me, and I was like, oh, this sucks. But I have a new appreciation.
Yeah, because you were listening to everyone else saying the same thing, and you fell for it.
Exactly. And I have a new appreciation for him, and I'm thinking it's not the art, it's the dynamic stuff that's going on in this book is just incredible, and he draws how he feels, and I can see the passion in the art, and I just love it. And anybody's not reading this, it's pretty good. It's really good.
Yeah.
Is the G.I. Joe the Skybound stuff, or is it the old?
It's the Skybound stuff. So I'm reading all I'm reading now is just like I was in like '94. It's just reading Image. It's all the Skybound stuff. So
nice.
Yeah.
And he's killing it. He just got the Mask license as well.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Mask, yeah.
So being a DC fan guy, I fell out of comic books a little bit when I went to college, and then I got married young. Heather and I got married young, and so then it wasn't. I kind of was out of it for a little bit. Then it was Green Lantern Rebirth that got me back in.
Right.
So good. So good.
So good.
Jeff Johns.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this is. I love this. So
we had the exact same taste in comics.
I think so.
That got me back too. I didn't tell you that. That got me back in 2007.
Yeah. So then that was the beginning of a great run of comic books, and then it went hard, and it went to like the Identity Crisis came out next, and then that was so good that led to like the Rand Thanagar War and Villains United,
OMAC Project, and then Infinite Crisis.
Right.
We had the same path in comics, Adam. We didn't know. How long have we known each other? Like 5 years?
Yeah, we should be talking about this all the time.
We should be talking all this time.
So I got in, like, I was in hard, and I was like, this is great.
STS, bringing people together.
And then,
that's right.
And then DC was like, okay, we're going to reboot the entire universe with 52 new titles. We're going to call it New 52.
Yeah.
And I was like, I hate this so much. And I hated the way they looked. I hated that they looked like, what if all the DC characters were drawn in the Marvel universe and had high collars? And I was like, I hate it. And so I fought it for a while. But Action Comics, where Superman was just in a t-shirt and jeans, my buddy Steve was like, hey, read the first 3 issues. It's actually pretty good. So,
what about Scott Snyder's Batman?
So again, it was all right. So I slowly crept back in against my better judgment, and I was like, okay, there's some all right stuff here. Some of it I didn't love, like I didn't love the Joker wearing skin on his mask. I didn't some of it, and then they stopped that universe and did another reset.
Was that
Like,
Flashpoint? Was that
Yeah,
Flashpoint?
Flashpoint happened, and I was like, I think I'm gonna tapping out. Like I can't. It's making me angry that I'm just like I'm getting invested in these stories and they just redo it.
That's the history with DC though. It's always a crisis and they reboot everything.
But I was like, but you would invest time and money into all these books and crossovers and and I was like, I just can't do it anymore. So now I'm still reading comics, but I'm going back. Like right now, I'm rereading the first run of Booster Gold.
Oh,
right. So I'm going back and reading stuff I didn't read back when I should have read it. And so that's great. And I'm sharing it with my son. So right now my son is reading the Alan Moore Swamp Thing run.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah.
So we got all those. I'm still reading. I'm just not reading anything new. I'm going back.
I think for Batman, I think Jim Lee had one of the best Batman designs. But as far as reading comics, the only new comic I've gotten in recent times, Ken, is your comic. Which we will have to talk about before you duck out. But I did get for Christmas, the full collection of the Marvel G.I. Joe run. And so, like Adam, I'm really just going back and rereading stuff. I recently got X-Force 1, X-Men 1, and all affordable. Like, I thought, man, I'm never going to be able to afford to get these #1 issues. But I found them in a secondhand bookshop, dirt cheap. I was like, times have changed.
For G.I. Joe, did you get the big Skybound compendiums?
They are the compendiums, yeah. But if they're Skybound, I don't know. I didn't notice. It's in the other room. But Xavier, my son, picked them up for me. I was like, "What? This is a tremendous gift. This is very thoughtful for a teenager. Thank you very much."
That's so awesome because they're doing the IDW reprints next. Like that's the next Kickstarter. So I'm like,
oh right. So I've got the
run from 155 onwards.
Oh, cool. Well, I'm nowhere near finished those books. But there's 2 of them, and
hold on. I'm going to grab something. I'm going to see if you guys know what this is. But if not, I'm going to recommend a comic run from the '80s that you guys should all read. One second.
So Ken, what do you got? What do you got reading?
Because I just finished those Skybound G.I. Joe reprints of Marvel late last year, and then the Transformers ones landed. So I'm kind of working through that.
Right.
But I do have some of the Skybound books, like the current Energon universe, but I'm reading the trade paperback. So I was in the middle of the Scarlet one, and then the Transformers books landed, right? And then I started reading that, and then I just got distracted. I'll come back eventually.
Transformers does look good. I haven't read any of it, but I've seen snippets of it, like on Facebook and stuff, or on TikTok. Yeah. Damn, it looks great.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm reading the Transformers Marvel and Marvel UK run because Stephen Kelly and Patty Lennon both said you have to read the old Transformers Marvel from the UK because those stories are better than the Marvel than the US ones. But when Skybound re-released that entire run, they interspersed the UK issues in between the US ones where they managed to make sense storyline wise. So it's been tremendous fun. Right.
Okay, so in 1985, one of my favorite comic book characters did a thing that I wasn't aware of, and I'm reading it now. It was a small run just called Hex, where Jonah Hex gets brought into the future, into like a
that's cool
wasteland. And so he's like just going around, and he gets like a leather coat, and he's just like becomes like a Mad Max hero. I think it's like 15 issues, and then it's done. It's incredible. It is like a page turner. It is so good. So I keep this whole run in the footstool of my chair in the living room, that if in case I just need to read something, it's right there.
Nice.
Yeah, that looks really cool. I did not know that they brought out
and they don't explain how he gets back, but in the last issue, it's not going to spoil the story, but he's walking by a museum and he sees his stuffed body in the museum.
What?
And it's like Jonah Hex died on 1820. So he's like, oh, I guess I get back home. So it doesn't tell you how he gets back home. It ends in the future, so they can do more stories if they want. But he eventually gets back home and then dies as an old man.
That's that is a great way to end a series. Like, we don't have to show the whole thing. We're gonna. That's honestly possibly the best storytelling about not without giving a full answer. An open-ended way to do it. I like it. Ken, I know you've got to go soon, so why not bring up that comic book Euro part and give us a little bit of history around that. Can people still pick it up, and what was your involvement in it?
Oh, Delta,
Delta 17.
Oh, okay, yes, it's still on the website at delta17toys.com. Steve gave me editing credits, so if you look through the credits, I'm like right at the end. I'm like, ooh, I got to do something right at the end. I got to like fix his words and everything. What Steve did is he wrote the entire thing in old school like pen and paper in like one of those journals, and half the text was like sideways and all this stuff. He's like, he scans the whole thing. He says to me, make this pretty. I'm like, what? Just like, yeah, because the artist has to turn it into a thing. I'm like, but this is like your chicken scratch. So he's like, yeah, but just change some words and make it sound good, and I'll give you editorial credits. I'm like, yay, good, right? So now we're trying to slowly work on issue number 2, but I'm like, I'll do the same thing for this one. You don't have to pay me. And he's just like, yeah, but now all I have for issue 2 is audio files. So I'm like, oh, so we're probably not going to get that out before Joe Fest. We're going to try.
Gonna dictate. Can you bring it up so we can have a look at it at the first issue?
Issue 1. Yes. Issue number 1 of Delta 17. So you see all the names on the side, and you see right at the end, you see Poe. Just 2 letters. I'm just like, oh, I just snuck into the credits. It's like the guy when the movie comes up and like at the very end of the credits crawl, you're like, that's me right there. Everyone's left the theater, and I'm there. I made it. I'm in the credits.
Hollywood, baby.
So how does one go about getting a comic book printed and produced, and were there minimum quantities that you guys had to do in order to tell us a bit of the behind the scenes process?
There is a minimum quantity, and like if you go over a certain number, the price drops like dramatically. But then if you're not an established brand, you end up with a lot of extras. So we do have extras right now. I mean, not a tremendous amount of extras, but we have a healthy amount, right? That's why we were able to keep this to $5 US. If we kept it with because some people go with $10 US for an indie comic, and they know their hardcore fans are going to buy it. So as for the actual printing of it, somehow, even though Steve lives in the middle of butt F nowhere, like 2 hours south of Winnipeg, somehow there's like a high quality print shop there. So when this is a crazy story. We got it printed and done right before Joe Fest 24. He picks it up on the Monday, knowing he's going to leave in his truck on the Tuesday. So he has his family bag and board a bunch of stuff overnight, right? And then on the Tuesday morning, they're loading the van for him to leave and cross the border for a very, very specific commercial crossing. So this was not 24 hours old when he loaded it into the truck. It was literally hot off the press. He arrives at Joe Fest on like a Thursday, and it's like, these were printed 72 hours ago.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Who's making it to Joe Fest this year? Ken. Oh, sad.
No, that's not true. It's not just me.
It's this year. Yeah, we can't make it this year. We'll be Joe Fan 84. Joe Fan will be at Joe Fest. Surely he was there last year.
Yeah, I would go down there, but Grayson's graduation happens right on the Friday night of Joe Fest.
I'm going to Vancouver.
I'll see you there.
You'll see me there. You'll definitely see me there, but you won't see me at Joe Fest. Because my brother just had a baby, and he lives like in Kelowna. So
congratulations on Han Child's brother.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
He don't look like me. He's bigger than me. Like,
is he as handsome as Hans though?
His wife thinks he's more handsome, but I debate that.
Get out.
Yeah, bullshit. Bullshit. What's his name?
John.
Sounds ugly.
Was he the one you collected
Just kidding, John.
Toys, your Exo Squad toys with? You told me the story about how you guys collected Exo Squad together?
Yep, that's it. Well, everything was us. Yeah.
Okay,
so we'd coordinate. So I would get this and he'd get that, and we'd just trade back. He was unique with regards to brothers because we never used to fight. We still don't fight really.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, I apologize. We take my son to see his grandparents every Saturday, and this is kind of that time. But thank you guys for having me back on. It's like a fun little reunion here. It's been a little while. It's been a hot minute, you know.
Thanks, Ken. We'll do it again. Oh, the reason why I'm not going to Joe Fest this year, Ken, is because I'm going to go catch up with Space Commander in the UK this year. So
that's just as worth it. That's just as worth it. Well, say hi to Spacey.
I think so.
You know. All right. I'll see you all at the space station, I guess.
See
you there.
Buddy.
Talk soon, buddy.
The All the
Gaz, what have you got going on, Gaz? You're not going to Joe Fest because you're getting engaged.
No, I'm not.
You have a big plan
Yeah,
with your lady friend.
You said that you were going to say a big announcement tonight on the stream.
Yeah, is that the new engagement?
Future,
Get out of here.
You had a big announcement ready for us, so you want us to cue it up.
No, I'm not going to Joe Fest this year, unfortunately. Sorry.
Because you're getting engaged?
No, because nothing's happening here. No.
Oh.
No,
if that was the case, I'll be like.
But the email you sent us.
You
said don't bring it up on the show, but.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, never mind. We'll drop it.
No.
Hey, speaking of Hydro Viper, how cool does that new Hydro Viper look? Back onto comics. Hans, how are we going on your comic book endeavor? We had a look at some arts last time we were talking comic books.
Okay, so
you showed us some bits and pieces. They look great.
Okay, so you want to see what I'm working on for next year? All right.
Yeah.
Let me. Where to start? Okay. Blah 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 blah. Luckily, everything is always very close because the room it only looks very big. In actuality, it is not. Is this it? I hope this is it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that Hydro Viper too.
So,
only because it looks like Action Force. Action Force.
All right. So before I get into this thing, biblically, a man cannot serve two masters. And as we all know, we're all getting a bit older. So I'm taking like a massive risk this year. I'm actually leaving my job. And I'm actually terrified, honestly. But I'm leaving my job to go full-time comic books because I've been working part-time comic books for like 16 years now. And like it's always like normal job and then come home and comic books. And I've realized as even though I stay in shape and stuff, I can feel like I'm getting older and I'm getting slower. And I also feel like I have way less energy. So I'm actually gonna like drop my job, except for like the bare minimum of classes. So I'm going like part-time, but like real minimum part-time. So, and that's to like wholesale invest into comic books and Patreon and all that sort of stuff. So it's supposed to be flat audiobooks and flat art from now on. So that's gonna be happening in June. Thank you very much, Joe Fan. I appreciate that.
Agreed.
But and I don't like Instagram for this. I don't like Facebook for this because I go on there and I see like a billion artists who are better than me and a billion writers who are better than me or whatever. But I think even if I'm not successful, I think if I don't give this a proper shot, I'm gonna be like regretting it. So this is the book, almost done.
I'll just say, Hans, I don't know if, and nothing's going to be able to stop you from doing it, but I don't think comparing yourself to people that you think are better than you is accurate. So I think every single artist has their own distinct style, and while Gaz wasn't a fan of Liefeld in the end, he liked him in the beginning, right? And he got peer pressured into not liking him. But I don't think that any one artist is better than any other artist. If you're putting something out there that you create, then that is either going to be for someone in particular, or at least you have created something, and that in itself is pretty damn good.
And that's kind of what I'm going for. Oh, thank you, Lilith. I believe my wife. You know what's shocking is that my wife believes in me too, and that's a big deal because she can just as easily say like, "Don't do that. Our family can't." Blah blah blah. But she's all on board for it, and that's giving me a lot of hope. So two things. I've done this already, but I'm sure in a while, like y'all don't remember this, but you see up in the corner it says the 6th draft, right?
Yes.
I write these things really fast, but I'm actually on the 8th draft of this right now. But it doesn't matter because I draw and I write at the same time. And I'm halfway through the actual illustrations. I'll try to show you new stuff. Stop. Right, cool. I'll try to show you all new stuff.
Shout out to the Chaplin's Assistant Motorpod.
So I write and draw with great influence from Shakespeare. And I know as a fact that's not going to eat everybody, right? So this is where I've reached wrong page. There we go. This is where I've reached right now. And essentially, like, the story, it really begins not the story, but the adventure kind of begins at this point. These two characters have both decided to go on this quest together, but they kind of don't get along. And go back one. And you can kind of see her. She's a little more aggressive than he is. She's kind of yelling at him, looking down on him, that sort of thing. And the story really is about her kind of growing up a little bit and him learning to be a little bit more forceful. But it's a lot of fun to like draw this stuff. But what's crazy about when you draw it is you kind of realize like the number of mistakes that you're making as you go through. But what's interesting also about the mistakes that you make is like you see yourself kind of gradually improving. But there's one side effect, one really bad side effect. And that is that I really wish I was only doing this and not doing anything else. But having
that looks so cool.
I know, it's great.
Thank you. It'll
epic stuff.
That's where I've reached so far. This is a loose page. This is what I'm working on right now. But since a bunch of terrible things have happened in my, I shouldn't say terrible, that's not nice to say, but a bunch of things have happened in my life recently, and I'm trying my very best to kind of reason through them. So my father, he had a big heart operation. My mom then had to have a big operation, and then a bunch of other stuff. But like, I understand why. Oh, and here's like, in case anybody's interested, this is what a comic page looks like before you kind of do anything on it. It's just a bunch of glass mannequins and heads and shapes and crap. And then you kind of like work on it after. But
that's cool.
These are all just rough pages, right? Because I'm gonna have to go over everything here and shade it and blah blah blah. But my comic book teacher, David Ross, who's also Canadian, funny enough, he always told me, fill the canvas first with shapes, and then you can work on the details after. So I'm trying to complete the entire book and then work on the details after, because it really gives you like a better idea of where everything is. And even as I'm doing it now, I'm realizing, I'm gonna have to put a couple more pages here, or put a little bit more writing there. This is a really nice process for me, and I keep saying this every year, it's gonna be out March next year, but it's March next year now, and it's obviously not gonna be out for March next year, so I'm gonna say March next year again. But when I put my whole life into it, which is what I really plan on doing, it's gonna get done, and it's gonna get done fast, because I don't know, as I said, I have to do it before I die, or while my health is still here, because I think I'll regret it. And my kids are always, my daughter especially, she's a lot like me. My son is too young for us to understand who he is yet. But my daughter's always like, when's the book gonna be finished? Can I read it? Is it gonna be something for me? And I'm like, yeah, you can read it for sure. I don't write things with the intention of it being overly mature or overly anything. I write it with the intention that anybody can absorb it. The language will be sophisticated, because I think reading and writing should be something that elevates people. And I don't look down on anybody's intellect. So I'm not gonna hand somebody a book and say it might be a little high for you. What kind of crap is that? It's like, no, this is what I wrote. This is what I think. If you want to read it, go ahead. And if you're a little intimidated by it, I think it's a call for the reader to kind of take their own adventure and kind of elevate themselves, so to speak.
Look up a word if you don't know what it means, and you grow.
Exactly, right? All that being said, to say like I have about 4 months left of like full-time job, and then the terrifying realization that if I don't work, I don't get paid. And I really hope that it all works out well. If not, well, you know what's crazy? I tell my students this. It's not like you're going to let yourself fail. You're always going to try your best. So it's going to be the same for me. I'm going to try my best. And as you said, people will find it,
Well, Lilith is saying, sometimes, Hans, you have to take risks before receiving the rewards. As a commercial artist, and I look at your art, and I have to say, you do put in some professional artists to shame, and your work oozes passion. You're definitely one of the most, if not the most passionate person I've ever known in my life. You definitely have a lot of passion, and your artistic skills are a reflection of that passion too. And I believe that this is going to pan out for you. I don't have anything to back that up, any concrete evidence of it, but I just know that I know you, and I know you when you put your mind to something, you're going to kick that door in. So I'm looking forward to reading it.
Thank you.
As is everyone else.
I'm definitely. I don't know how far it'll go, but if I can get a copy of this into like all of your hands and to everybody in the chat and stuff, not even sell, just so that y'all can have it in your hands and be like, some nerd I know, he did this, I'll be happy. So I mean, if nothing
I've got your Instagram and your Patreon in the link in the description, so people can go and check out your art and your audiobooks, which I've thoroughly enjoyed.
Thank you.
And we're a long way. We're a long way since that, Lilith.
I'm never gonna live that down.
Wait, can you put that back up? I didn't finish reading that. Put that back up.
Okay. No more stealing neighbors' children's Lego. We don't want to see you on judge duty, but I'm sure Gaz can speak on your behalf by paying for those damaged doors.
Quietly putting them back up. Thanks, Hans.
Yeah. It's your lot in life.
That work looks really good. It looks like you put a lot of your heart into it and soul into it. I can't wait to see what it looks like when it's finished.
Yeah, man,
Thank you.
looks incredible.
Really, it's not superheroes. It's sword and sorcery stuff. It's knights and pirates, and I like that kind of stuff. And I don't know. I think there's a rut in that market, at least for good stuff. So I hope that I can do something there.
Sorry.
Can I just so I want to call this guy out. He's a student I have in school. He's in Form 4 in Rosewood Drama College, a guy named Kai Hadid. Every other week he asks me where I've reached with my book, and I'm embarrassed sometimes when I haven't made any progress. So I told him the other day, he really does keep me in check to make sure that I am working on it. So I just want to, say live now, thank you, Kai, for doing this. You have no idea how much that actually helps me and making me accountable for actually staying on my targets,
So Hans, another thing
Kai's a good guy
to keep you going. So my daughter just draws 24 hours a day. That's what she does. And in the last year and a half, she's gotten to a point where I'm like, how are you good at things? Like, how did that happen? So when we were looking at her blueprint for where she's going to go in school and whatnot, we were like, oh, do you want to pursue art? And she was like, no, I don't want to pursue it. Because there will be no jobs for me because AI is just taking over everything. And she got really sad that there is in her mind, there's no future for a real artist. So to see someone like yourself who is a real artist just being like, no, I'm just going to do it, because real art is where passion comes from and where a story comes from. And you can't duplicate that. A machine can't duplicate that. So even just being an inspiration to those that are struggling with that in the world where it's how do I compete with, instant mediocrity? It's inspiring.
AI.
Phil's on with you. Phil agrees.
Yeah, dude. Listen, we're not getting any younger, Phil. So I will say this, especially to your daughter. Don't worry about AI. Don't worry about AI art at all. Not because it's not going to be there. It's always going to be there. Mm-hmm. But the reality is, don't look at it as something that takes your job. Just look at it as another tool that will allow people who can't draw at all to be able to experience 1% of what it does feel, to actually be able to draw. It's just it's just another tool that's out there. And some people...
And it's just popular now because it's there.
Some people will argue that it's real art. Some people argue that it's not art. But the reality is it going to stop me from drawing? And the answer is no. No. As I said, it's been 16 years now I've been working in the industry. I've been finding jobs to ink, finding things to draw, finding people, because a lot of people, the people especially who have money and were willing to pay for commissions and stuff like that, they don't want AI. They really don't.
No. The reality is nobody wants AI.
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing about AI. It's let me just address the comic book industry. Right? They've been saying the comic book industry's been dead for the last 30 years. Yeah. Since the early 90s, that's going to die. It's going to go away. This is going to take over. This is going to take over, and it's still there. Mm-hmm. It's still there.
Even when DC went, it was in 2014, I think, when they did we're going to go all digital. We're not going to do any. We're going to phase out print comics, and we're just going to do digital. And it lasted 3 months because people were like, "No, I like to have a book in my hand and read it."
Yeah.
The exactly.
Thanks want to know.
Downdoors. Who wants to get their book signed by a computer? Anyway, all right. So if you remember in the 90s, the big coloring company was Liquid, right? Liquid was coloring everybody's books. But at a certain point, the guys in Liquid, they didn't understand color theory, which is why a lot of the books just looked like the art was fantastic because it was still done traditionally. It was inked traditionally, but the colors were all over the place. It was so hypersaturated. There was no concepts of light and dark. It was just everything was bright, saturation 100%. That lasted for all of about a year before people were like, okay, the slick coloring style has got to go. Color theory makes sense. And it's the same thing with AI. There are subtle differences between a real artist and someone who's pretending. And I'm saying there's nothing wrong with being a pretend artist because eventually that's what kind of leads you to becoming a real artist. And
I used AI for the thumbnail, so.
And what's the problem? Nothing wrong with that. I will also say, listen, down here I have to scrounge to find books, but my kids are really into reading now. And there are a lot of people out there doing material. And a lot of old material is still phenomenal. Cool. And the children absolutely love it. There are classics that are being done in graphic novel format that are making classical books, Shakespearean books, more accessible to children than they ever have been. My kids read more. And everybody else reads tons of this stuff. There'll always be a market for it. I mean, somebody who did not want me to mention their name sent me this. This is the Call of Cthulhu.
Oh, that's cool.
H.P. Lovecraft in graphic novel format. Look at this. This is not AI. This is beautiful, hand-drawn, flat color artwork. This is...
Hans, have your kids read Mouse Guard?
That's what comes next, right?
Yeah.
This is something that Disney spat out recently. Look at this. Look at the incredible detail in this thing. This is Mickey Mouse.
Yes.
But this book has incredible depth to it. This has people will be like, they'll dismiss it because it's Mickey Mouse. And people are like, oh, well, anything from Disney is crap. This is not true. All right. Disney still employs some incredible artists. So while the people at the top might be nonsense, the people who are doing stuff like this without that corporate overlord sticking their fingers in their nose while they're drawing, they do phenomenal work. And
just look at that Donald Duck one from the 40s into the 60s.
Exactly. And even Marvel does some stuff that is very much akin to the things that we grew up with in the 70s and in the 80s. I mean, these are wonderful stories. They're well written, they're well drawn, and the children receive them very well. And I pick one up. Pick up one of those little kid books.
Yeah.
So before we get too far removed from...
While you're at it, as I said, the classic.
The Hobbit, nice.
And as we were talking about Alex Ross, before there was Alex Ross, there was this guy painting the entire Hobbit story. So there's no end.
Before we go too far, hang on a sec. Before we go too far from the conversation that you brought up earlier, Adam, about your daughter's art, I was lucky enough to be shown in your home. She brought over her book of art, and she was proudly stating how she's getting better at drawing hands, and flipping through the book I got to see how gradually she was getting better and better and better as she went. And I was just amazed that this young individual is putting in this sort of effort into something that isn't digital, right? Something pen to paper or pencil to paper. And I thought she did a tremendous job. Universal Toy Hunters here.
Hey-o.
Good evening. Good to see you, buddy. Eldor.
Hans, have your kids read or seen the Mouse Guard books?
Yeah, I have.
They're incredible.
It's either on my shelf. No, it's on their shelf upstairs in their room. But yeah,
my kids love those, and I love reading those with my kids when they were younger.
That's another thing, right? See, reading with your kids, especially when they're young, and you create that habit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't put a price on that. Can't put a price on it. My son, it's a real struggle sometimes to get him to kind of organize himself with regards to reading, but he brings books home from the library every weekend. We try to read together, but recently it's been rough, especially with me being sick. But he's like, let's read, and he brought home he knows I like Star Wars, so he brought home a Star Wars book specifically, and have to get it done.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, just let your daughter keep drawing. I know she'll be great.
Oh no, I encourage it. I love stuff, and she, like, it's her favorite thing. I'm like, hey, so whenever I pick my kids up from school, and I know school's not a fun thing because they're not, no one wants to be there, but when they get in the truck, the first thing I ask is like, exactly, it's like, hey, like, what was the highlight of your day? Like, I don't care if it's, I got a free cookie, and like, give me the highlight of your day. What's something to look forward to? And hers is always like, oh, this picture of drawing, this was the highlight of my day. Oh, and it's always something that she's drawn. So I love it. I think it's great.
We have so many artists in our school, and like the whole how will I get a job situation, that question comes up all the time, and I'm always like, just draw, just paint. You'll figure out the job part after. You will, like, no artist's career is like normal. It's always weird. It's never ever one straight line to employment. If you want to be an artist, you are going to have this weird asymmetrical path. Just embrace it and go. It's part of the thing.
I've got this habit of drawing TIE fighters on everything at work. Like if we're in a meeting, I hope my boss isn't watching, but when we're in a meeting and we're all on the computer, right? I'll just have a bit of paper and I'll just do a little TIE fighter battle on a piece of paper. Just always TIE fighters. I don't know why.
How great is the TIE fighter design when you're thinking we're gonna do spaceships, they're gonna do dogfights in space with what looks like airplanes, and a TIE fighter it's so good.
It sounds cool.
Sounds.
Nate does a great TIE fighter.
Yeah.
But when are we thinking, Hans, that comic will be in our hands? What's your hope? No pressure to have an answer for that either, by the way. But do you have in your mind when you would like that to be?
March next year.
So March next year would be in an ideal world. In an ideal world, it should be finished, drawn, colored, written by March. Printed, that's up to the printry. But I know that will incur a ridiculous cost. And I also know shipping is a real SOB. So I'm going to...
So have you thought about a digital idea? I mean, I know we want to have physical copies in people's hands.
The Patreon people will get a PDF download. Like, that for sure is happening on Patreon. They'll get a PDF download and they'll be able to thing it.
Do you have a website?
Huh?
You have this Chow website where you can...
I don't have a website. I don't know if I will have a website. I kind of like
Instagram
and Facebook do everything I need it to do. Patreon, anything that I want to be free, it is free and available anyway. They don't even have to sign up. They just have to kind of come on the Patreon. They can see whatever. The most of the audiobooks and stuff, like chapter 1 or the first 10 minutes is usually free. So if that's something that they're interested in, they get it for $1. So if they don't want to do that, that's fine too.
Link is in the description of this video if you want to check out Hans Chow's Patreon. Check it out one time, won't you? I got a thing for that.
The tried and true tested of salesmanship of drug dealers, where the first one's free, and then the rest.
Hang on, I haven't played this in a while, so in honor of picking up Hans's Patreon and being first in line for one of his newest comic book endeavors.
Check it out one time, won't you?
Love that.
Hit the link.
It's one of those things also where, like, say someone joins the Patreon, downloads the PDF, and just like posts it for free. I don't really care. Just I want people to see it, and if they care enough, they'll throw a couple coins in the can. If not, whatever.
Hans, you'll have your own booth at Joe Fest one day, and you'll be signing. We'll be like, we knew Hans before he was famous. And you'll be like, who do I make this out to? I was like, we were on a stream together. You remember us? It's like, which one were you again?
I can't. My dream is that we go to Joe Fest in 2 years, and Hans is at the place where he can big time us. And I hey Hans, and he'd be like,
I will make you this guarantee. I mean, you're gonna have a table. I'll work your table for you.
I'll work your table.
My wife.
We'll all work your table.
My wife told me to get a table this year. She told me.
Yeah, I think you should.
She told me to get a table this year, and then when we went to book one, there were no tables left. So we'll book a table for next year early, and by then I will have all my stuff out. And I'm thinking about printing like 50 copies, which is like nothing, but I don't know. I saw a lady selling her book this year, but it was a novel, not a graphic novel. I meant to pick up a copy, but I didn't get a chance to do it because it was upstairs. But I like reading new stuff. The first time I went to Joe Fest and Gazz was with me, there was a guy selling his novel. I bought his novel and I read it, and it's not really my thing, but I love creativity and I love
Hans couldn't buy a copy of her novel because he was too busy buying my son Transformers.
Well, we recently went to I think this past summer we went to Boston Fan Fest and Boston Comic Con, and I swear walking through the artist alley and all the I'm gonna say little companies, all the little publishing companies trying to push their books, and you have a hard time walking away from them because you want to know more. Like, this is a really good idea. I like this. I like what you're doing here. I like this. I can't buy everything. And I feel bad walking away.
Well, yeah, I remember that lady from Joe Fest. Had a brief conversation with her, but I appreciate that she went and put herself out on the line. I mean, I don't know if that was the convention for it, but friendly enough person. But I couldn't put money down on a book that I knew I wasn't going to read. As much as I wanted to maybe support, I just can't do it.
You just gotta take that chance, though.
This wasn't my thing. Yeah.
We were about half an hour ago, 45 minutes ago, we were talking about like mainstream comic books and all that. Leave me alone.
That's right, I was. I'm not made of money.
I mean, looking at just the number of X-Men titles and the number of Spider-Man titles and the number of crossovers and all sort of stuff. I have a friend, same guy. It's always the same guy. I talk to him quite regularly, and we were talking about how comic books are what they've become, and we were thinking like if we were to reduce comic books to like an annual, so like one Spider-Man story a year or one X-Men story a year, but you put everything into that book. So you put the best art and best writing. You let the writers actually work on it and think about it instead of having to be like, it's not a deadline thing. It's this should be remembered for the sake of posterity kind of thing. I think we'd see like a jump. I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do like disposable entertainment, but not all comic books, especially legacy comic books like Spider-Man and Batman and stuff, should be disposable entertainment, because as it becomes more based on like quantity rather than quality, it cheapens the whole thing, and people start to look at it as something as like a joke. Because what we have right now, Batman, Superman, all these things, that's our actual modern mythology that we're playing with right now. This is the Hercules and the Achilles and the Odysseus and of our time. And unlike in those days where there were very few writers, there were very few people who were trusted with these mythologies, this is entrusted with almost anybody. And that's a big problem. That might sound like gatekeeping, because it is. I think that when you have a legacy title, the person who handles it should be a tried and true, tested author and artist. And some artists and authors don't work well together. So even those combinations should be checked. Because comic books aren't just for kids, and they're not just for adults. They should be kind of a timeless thing, and they're just not where they used to be, and they should really get back to it. You know?
I think modern comics like Marvel, DC. DC right now is probably better than they've been in a long time with Absolute Batman. And Snyder's they're killing it with that right now. Marvel, on the other hand, is not. They're not doing anything spectacular. Their stories aren't as good anymore.
They don't know what to do. And who can blame them? They don't know what stories left to tell. The problem is they have fans who are writers, and what they need who are writers who are fans. Right?
I was listening to a podcast. This recently came out this week, and they're in the podcast host was saying that he believes that Marvel is purposely tanking themselves so that they could
Sell?
Lease their characters out, not lease, license their characters out to have other companies like Skybound write for them and do their stuff.
Right.
Which if you look at what they're doing, I mean, they just ended the the Ultimates line completely. It's done. That was like, I think, probably their best world.
Was one of their best for sure.
Right. I mean,
But they brought it back again. The Ultimate Universe is back in some new form now.
They haven't created a brand new character, and I can't tell you how long. Like a brand new character. I remember reading X-Men, and like every 10 issues there's like a brand new bad guy. Right. Or you get a new X-Men. They haven't created a new X-Men. And I know people out there being like, well, yeah, you have Miles Morales and characters like that, but that's a Spider-Man. He's not a new character. He's Spider-Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
They used to, in the annuals, bring out new heroes and new villains and test them out there. And then if they did well, they'd be brought back as regular characters. You are very humble for a billionaire. Now, we're not rich, but we are wealthy when it comes to friendship. And I think all of us here, including you in the chat, I think that's the real value in doing any of this stuff is to be able to share it with good friends.
To what Hans was saying, I think the creative energy that we remember from like the 80s, like where's the Claremont, where's Byrne, where are those great creators that worked for this this industry, creating new stories, like the stories that we're seeing now in the cinematic universe, the stories that were written like 40 years ago, 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah, right? And then hey going, Ryan? Good to see you, buddy.
Hey, buddy. Get him back
and then you've got those people that are like, they're not sticking to the source material. It's just like, well
that's the films, right?
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, I think the creative aspect of well, at least in Marvel Comics anyway, isn't there anymore. I think it's too corporate. I think they're allowing corporate to control what they're writing, where it should be the other way around. The creatives should be able to create what they want to create and tell their stories they need to tell, and not worry about corporate, because you want to sell the book, and if the book's, it's crud, I guess.
I can't tell if you guys are like I don't know what the word.
I think Hans, you could be a hero called Hans Kachow, and you got I don't know, killer good looks and rippled muscles that won't quit.
Like I said in the chat, if I was writing a movie, Hans would be my hero character,
and he would fight against Canadian fake Hans Chow.
Yes. I'd read / watch, participate. If it was just set in the ring, I'd watch Hans Chow as a wrestler, and watch his story evolve.
So funny as you brought up wrestling, because wrestling was one of those things that was kind of on a backslide for a while,
right?
As I was concerned. And then when Triple H kind of rose up in the ranks, and you got a wrestler in charge of wrestling, you kind of saw it kind of start to go up again. And it's the same thing that like Gazz said. You have people who have like a bachelor's in business and accounting, and they're in charge of the guys who have the bachelor's and the master's in art. And if you look at the DC to Marvel, what's wrong with me?
Marvel.
The Marvel. In a Canadian coming out. The Marvel comparison, if you look, Jim Lee is at the top of the DC chain. So it has to go through him first. And he's the kind of guy who's got that business sense in his head, but also that creative sense who's like, no, Batman would not do this. Go back and rewrite that, please. So he sits and ensures that the stories maintain a certain standard. And that's necessary, right? On Marvel, there are too many yes men. As I said, it's fans who are writers, not writers who are fans.
Exactly.
And they need to kind of filter that stuff out. And it's not just like superheroes. Look at what's happening to the people who are writing Star Wars. Darth Vader is fighting everybody now and losing to everybody right now to win in the end. They've made the character look weak because they fundamentally don't understand, the character's, thing. That's what he's exactly. He just copies what he sees also.
You know what? Having said that, I brought out Blanca as the Ultimate Warrior and E Honda as Yokozuna. And what are they doing now? They're bringing out a crossover toy line where Blanca is the Ultimate Warrior. And a good idea is a good idea. But everyone here has been a part of the Sword House Wrestling Championship, and Ryan absolutely killed it as the Dead Man. Returned as the Dead Man. Hans as Ryu. Oh, beauty. Too good.
Didn't he do the Mountie as well?
He did do the Mountie. That's right. Oh, that song that he did for the Mountie still makes me chuckle.
I also do think that with regards to storytelling, so say for example X-Men, right? No, sorry, not X-Men. Say for example Spider-Man, right? So 3 things. The first thing is the best I do at what I was it.
The best I do at what I am.
Whatever it is. So Spider-Man, for example. Spider-Man lost his wife and he lost Aunt May. And then now he has like a million women in his life and there are a million Spider-Men. That's something a child would write.
Yeah.
Right? So to me, Spider-Man Peter Parker was best when he was Peter Parker and he had a wife, and when he was trying to balance his Spider-Man lifestyle with his duties as a husband. And the reality is a lot of the writers who wrote Spider-Man, because of the way that they don't understand the complex storytelling involved in actually having a stable relationship. So the stories that could have been explored there could have been insane. But yes, no, I agree, Mr. Junior Carter. It's misery porn. It's misery porn. It's a guy who's sad all the time, who basically has a sense of humor to shield his depression, which sounds a lot like what a writer would do, which is not it. You cannot self-insert. The character has to be the character. And I mean, that whole dynamic between him and Black Cat and Mary Jane, as well as a lot of the villains, and they can do such interesting storytelling, but the reality is all they can think of is, hey, wouldn't it be cool if Spider-Man's girlfriend was Silver Sable and he was fighting 5 villains? Oh, come on.
Yeah, I don't. Wait, is Silver Sable one of his girlfriends now?
I don't know. He has like.
It shouldn't be. If that should not be a thing. But
I would say hard pass on that. Guys, it has been a blast hanging out with you. But I'm gonna go and I gotta work in the morning. I'm gonna spend some time with my family before I go to bed tonight. But this has been great. But I want to invite you guys all back to my channel to follow up this conversation in the next week or so. And move over from comic books to trading cards and talk about.
Ooh, yeah, those are big money now.
And when we do that, I'm going to open up this full case of Dick Tracy trading cards.
What?
And we're going to see if we can get a full set out of here.
Epic. I mean, count me in. Don't forget to check out Adam's channel. I tagged him in the description too. Zellas with the Fellas, one of my favorite things to do over on Adam's channel. He's over here doing Toy Beers, but we're over there doing Kenner. And just in time to say goodbye, Kiwi. But Adam, have a great birthday, my man. Happy 21st.
Happy birthday,
Thank
buddy.
you guys, appreciate it. I will. I'll talk to you back when I'll see you when I'm 21.
All right. Cheers, buddy.
Later, dude. Yeah. I think someone just said it a few seconds ago and it skipped out of my head, but whatever. Bottom line is essentially a lot of the people who are writing comic books nowadays, they're too busy focused on who they're fighting. Not really studying.
This one?
I mean, no, it wasn't. It was something Adam said. But just I think picture, if you will, Peter Parker in a stable relationship with his wife. His wife is a successful actress / model, and she's the breadwinner, and he still kind of does the Spider-Man thing. But they also have a kid, and imagine having to balance those three things. Not only could you inject your humor in there, but you can get Spider-Man stepping into a role as the way Uncle Ben was, or the way that Spider-Man's own father was. You work that family dynamic in instead of giving him a pseudo son in the form of like Miles Morales from another universe. And then injecting his
Spider-Boy now?
Spider-Boy, and then his dead girlfriend from another generation, from another dimension, who's also a spider person. And there's like 50 spider people now. It's just like, come on, man.
It's too much, right?
Spider-Man 2099, though, that one we'll keep him.
I mean,
yeah, keep him. Keep Miguel, because Miguel is a Spider-Man from a different time. All these other Spider-Men are from the same time. And then different dimensions. He's from 2099 in the future. Well, give me that, sir. Let me see him fighting crime in a future time. Give me that, but don't, I don't know. Comic books have, good night, sir. Comic books has an infinite length and breadth and creativity, but it needs to be well written. It needs to be well written, and it needs to be well thought out. It needs to be vetted, and it needs to be done for the sake of creativity and not for the sake of popularity. Because you want long-time fans. You want new fans. You want people who don't have to read 50 billion issues of something. It's why I can't get into this manga, One Piece. There are like 5 billion issues of this thing. I'm not doing that. Come on.
Yeah, right.
Anyway. I'm gonna get off my soapbox now and show you.
No.
Hey, we love you up there, buddy. Keep being up there.
Continue. I mean, I just want to see more. What we got there? Ooh, is that Campbell?
This is J. Scott Campbell's.
Oh yeah, buddy. I picked this up.
2010.
They're making statues of that stuff.
Oh yeah.
I picked this up just recently.
Right?
That is
nice.
So what I'm doing with this
has the pencil work inside.
That's
awesome. Cool.
That's freaking.
Who's the artist on that one?
This is J. Scott Campbell. This is his book from Image, Danger Girl.
Oh,
I love this comic book. This comic book is great.
That's perfect storytelling. You see, Danger Girl 1 through 10.
Bring it back.
One shot. Beautiful.
Hans approves.
This stuff is fabulous.
But that same calendar I showed you guys, I'm gonna cut the pictures out and I'm gonna frame them and put on my wall. Because to me, that's artwork. To me, that's beautiful stuff. That's amazing stuff. I forget
what statue company he's working with, but they're making statues.
Hot Toys.
That's it. Yeah, thank you.
It's Hot Toys.
Gotta be Hot Toys. Yeah, it's always Hot Toys. One more throwback to my old school comic book collection. As I said, this is a photo that Mum posted on Facebook a few years back. R.I.P. Mum. But there are some interesting. You can't really tell, but I can see Cable in there. I can see Ravage 2099. I can see some What Ifs.
That's
Sabretooth.
Right in the middle, drawn by Mark Texiera.
Which one?
That was a great issue. That's Sabretooth, the red one.
The Sabretooth one. Yeah. That was a great series. I love that one. I've got some back issues of Hulk. The one closest to me on the pillow is the Hulk comic book. I think from maybe the late 70s or early 80s. Some old Thor. This was just the stuff that I could fit on the bed. I'm sure it's stacked on top, and there were many others. But I just want to make sure Mum gets all the appreciation. So I've got 3D glasses in there, which I got for one of the comics. I can't remember what. And there's a little book there near the bed head. This was, I think, one of my grandparents' old bed that we inherited. But in that flip book that you can see near the bed head is actually Marvel cards. So, which we'll be discussing over on Adam's channel. But yeah, there was a lot going on there. But yeah, the good old days. And I see some Ghost Rider in there. Ghost Rider in the 90s. Oh, so good.
Out of curiosity, any of these swimsuit issues in there?
Oh, I have a couple of those. I can
The X-Men ones.
The X-Men swimsuit.
I used to hide comic books inside porn magazines, not the other way around, you know.
It's one thing if it's this Playboy, it's another thing if it's the swimsuit from X-Men. It's like,
I think
yeah, that's
I have
fine.
That's
a
rough,
Marvel
yeah.
swimsuit issue. They did it like a Time magazine. It's like a Time magazine setup. I also have one from Wildstorm, or it's an Image one. Maybe it's Pop Cow.
I've been trying to collect all of them.
Oh, really?
I've been trying to collect all of them because I think, because not only is it like decent artwork, because if you look back, some of that artwork is sketchy as hell. It ain't great. But in addition to that, it's kind of like a time capsule to the way things were in the 90s and the early 2000s.
Yeah.
The swimsuit issue was a thing. That was a big
It
thing.
was. It was a very popular thing. And then, you know what's interesting is, and I know it's artist's choice, right? But you don't think that when you're a kid because you're really invested in the universe. But what's interesting is seeing your favorite characters in clothing that you wouldn't ordinarily see them in. Like street clothes is all one thing, but swimsuits? Like Beast was already kind of in one, but Psylocke though. Psylocke had the best swimsuits.
Psylocke was in one as well.
The gold swimsuit. I think that's one thing most boys like remember. If once they've seen it, they remember the Jim Lee illustration of Psylocke in the gold swimsuit. It was like,
if it's the one I'm thinking of, yeah, that was
It probably is. I don't know.
Google, Gazz. Google it.
It'll just gold swimsuit Psylocke.
It's after 10, right? So we're good.
It's way after 10.
I read a lot of Conan Marvel comics. I didn't realize that they had like a dedicated Conan book back then. I didn't find that out until much later. So I thought the Conan movies were Marvel movies. I was like, add that to my list.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly the one I was thinking of. Yeah,
there it is.
All right, bring it up. Let's have a look. Let's really turn this into...
Hold on. Let me bring the brightness down a little bit.
While you're at it, find Rogue, Jean Grey.
Rogue. There you go. That's the
Yep, that one. That's her.
Ooh. But again, not very
Life don't get much better than this.
not very different from her regular costume.
Not that much different, no. I mean, you don't really need gloves for a swimsuit, but who's complaining?
No one was complaining. Absolutely.
Then you got that, there was a big splash page, maybe it was just a poster, but it's everyone around the pool.
And had Archangel in the background flying.
Was it?
1990.
Yeah.
Nice.
There it is right here. Is this it right here? I think this is it right here.
Psylocke is like in the front.
Yeah.
I think Beast might be cannonballing. Someone's doing a cannonball, I'm sure of it.
Larger, yeah. Oh, that's not it. Where is it? Come on. You can take me off there and I'll let you know when I have it.
No, you're going to feel the pressure now.
Yeah, I know. I'm feeling the pressure. I'm trying to get it so that it comes in larger. Here we go.
He's just really zooming in on one person in particular.
No, just trying to get a good.
Jubilee and Colossus. Colossus is posing, and Jubilee.
Yeah, that's right.
Who's
Who's got the backwards cap? Yeah, the cannonball. Who's on the back of Beast there?
That's Archangel up in the sky
hanging
there.
on to Beast.
Yeah.
How cool! Like Wolverine in just short shorts works. It just works.
I don't know if I like him in Daisy Dukes.
I don't. Who's all right? Who's the girl next to Jean Grey?
I think that's Silhouette. No, wait, no. That was somebody's
I always
girlfriend.
wondered who that was, but
That was somebody's girlfriend, I think.
No idea who that is.
Is it Archangel's girlfriend? She was. I think that might be Archangel's girlfriend,
No,
maybe.
I don't think it's Archangel's girlfriend.
Because I remember he had a girlfriend at the beginning of Execution's song that was dark skinned. Is that Forge behind them?
Yeah, that's Forge, I think. Yeah.
Where's Gambit?
He's there trying to put his hands on Jean Grey and the girl. Isn't that?
Oh, is that Gambit? I thought that was Forge. Okay, I see.
What do I know, right? Anyway.
Well, who knows? I don't. I'm not wearing my glasses. There we are. Stevie Hunter. She was a supporting character during the Claremont run. Cheers, Pericles. You're a legend.
Who is this genius with these things? You know, damn, Stevie Hunter.
Savage Land Rogue was whoo-wee.
That was another level. That was another level as well. But I didn't understand Savage Land until I actually saw the 97. Sorry, not 97, the 90s cartoon where like I realized, oh, they don't have powers in the Savage Land. So that's why
they're all
she had
normal, right?
That's why the underpants look was the thing. But I don't know.
Kazar, freaking Tarzan.
Kazar was cool.
What's the girl's name again?
I was just trying to think of that. There's one really cool comic where she's at a river with Wolverine. Wolverine is drinking the water and she's just like washing herself in it.
It's like
or something like that.
It's why I had to get this figure because it's like the that classic 90s.
It's a great figure.
Yeah, that X-Force #1 look.
Shauna the She-Devil. You see, I was right. It is
Shauna the She-Devil.
I don't know. I got something since I find as I'm getting older now, I'm dealing more with those old pulp stuff like Shauna the She-Devil, Red Sonja, and stuff. And I'm appreciating the writing in those way more than I am appreciating a lot of the newest.
I'm like you. I'm yearning for stories like those old, like classic, like 40s and 50s, like sci-fi movies. Those like Simple Invasions, like The Thing from Another Planet, or the monster that try to rule the world or something like that.
As you're bringing that up, and especially if you're into that sort of thing, you know the aliens from Mars Attacks, those guys. Yeah, they have those guys invading the Image universe, so they have Savage.
Oh right.
I think if you like that pulpy nonsense, I have all 6 issues because it's only 6 issues long, and you can't go far wrong. But if you are also looking for good stories, I brought this out. I don't know if anybody remembers this title, Warlands.
Warlands. Is that
Alvin Lee or something like that? Not Alvin.
I was going to say Joe. I'm shouting Joe Madden. Is it? No, that was.
It is Alvin Lee. It's Alvin Lee's Warlands. It's 12 issues long. If you like swords and sorcery and Dungeons and Dragons and stuff, it's an Image book, and it came out during the 90s. It's another one of those things that
I would say
absolutely pick up, and it's a taste of something new, something different.
I'm more of a rockets and laser guns guy.
Oh, well, I don't know, Gaz. That pulpy-looking Yeti movie that's coming out looks pretty damn good.
Let's go. I'm yearning for stuff like that. That's like it's done in that like old 40s style, which is I'm loving.
I love that they're leaning into that, and the idea of collecting people to go on this thing reminds me of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, the book. I didn't mind the movie, to be honest, but the book like that. I don't know why we haven't had Pericles on the show yet. I'm sure I've asked him before. Pericles, what are you doing? Get on here one day.
He knows all the things.
Yeah, we'd be so silent because we'd just be listening to him telling us everything. Him and Lilith, both of them, brilliant sources of information. And I do remember I meant to circle back around to this, but the show bags, we used to get a lot of comic books in show bags. We got G.I. Joe show bags back in the day too. We get face paint and stuff. They had good show bags back then. Now it's just garbage candy. And I say that as an old man, but I'm sure as a kid I would have loved garbage candy too.
Oh.
Yeah, get on board, Pericles. Come on.
What
you doing?
I have to leave in 2 minutes, but before I leave, I want to say one last thing, if possible. So for a huge gap of time, because comic books were not readily available down here, I didn't really collect anything, but I had one friend who had the one, I don't know what you guys would call it, but it's called a skybox. They still exist now. And he would be he had a little bit of room in the skybox, his parents' skybox, where he would allow him to fit 1 or 2 items in. So he used to collect X-Men or Spider-Man, and he'd be like, would you like me to bring anything down for you? And I was like, Spawn. So I had the first 100 Spawns, but eventually he got enough room in it where it allowed him to collect one more thing. And everybody was into X-Men, but I was into Gen 13.
Oh, right, yes. How cool was Grunge?
Yeah, right.
What a great book!
I thought. Oh, sorry. Let me bring it back up.
What was the villain? What's his name? They had that red thing over his eye.
Oh,
I kept
not
names
Impulse,
on cover.
not M-Plate. It's I can't remember his name. I can't remember.
He was so I liked him.
He's actually in this book. He's in the
Yeah.
first few pages of this book.
Of course, I was
But
reading it.
this is actually the first issue, and I have
Yeah.
the first 100 of these as well. But after that, I kind of stopped collecting comic books simply because, like, for you guys, a comic book is what, about $6 or something like that?
Well, back then it was like $3.
$1 maybe.
Roxy, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I stopped reading it after Campbell. Because I was a
Campbell
fan of
stopped drawing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the artist that launched the book, whenever that changed, it was never the same. With any book.
Yeah, when Mike Turner was drawing Witchblade. Oh, it was fabulous.
Who was doing Savage Dragon? That was a cool
that's
one.
always Ben Larson.
Ben Larson, yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I stopped collecting for a long time, and it kind of, you move out and you get an apartment, and comic books become a little bit less important than eating. Anyway, so until I went away to university and I discovered Free Comic Book Day, I discovered comic books came in on Wednesday. Like, that's something that you guys kind of grew up with, right? But that's not something that I grew up with. So I had a friend, Dan McKinnon. I'm calling you out, Dan, because I'm going to send this to you later that I did speak of you. He's another Canadian fella, an amazing guy. And he was like, oh, it's Wednesday. We were drawing together as well. So we're in school together. We're all drawing and stuff. And he's like, oh, it's Wednesday. I'm going to the comic store. I was like, why? He's like, because that's when the new comics come in. Duh. And I'm like, take me to this magical land. So we went to the magical land, and I'd action figures and comics and stuff. And I had been so wrapped up in trying to survive, I forgot that, there are reasons to survive, and comic books was one of them. And Gen 13 had been like really weird for a while, and Spawn had gone out of fashion for a while. And like, I saw all these new books that I never really knew. So funny enough, as you'd mentioned Witchblade, this was the first book I picked up when I went back in, and it was drawn by Stepan Sejic, who's some kind of, I don't know, Eastern European artist. And I was like, they can do this? And that got me into that. And I don't know, man. Comic books are so magical. And not only that, because it wasn't X-Men or Avengers or Marvel or DC, they were telling their own very unique storylines. Some were slice of life, some were very dark, and I didn't realize these are things like, this is just a dude in the street getting mugged. It's not these giant cosmic threats. And that kind of tuned me out of and showed me like different avenues for storytelling. And all of you people out there, go and collect many books and read many things. Don't just get pigeonholed into what they sell you. There's a lot of stuff out there. Anyway.
Michael Turner, Michael Turner passed away, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Bone marrow cancer or something.
Yeah. Because he had started Aspen, and he was doing what's the name? Fathom. Yeah, that was a
Fathom. He did. You think about Grace. He did Fathom and he did Grace, and I have the first first issue of Grace as well. But
so
he's one of those guys who I think if he was still alive now, him and Jim Lee would be head and head, because he was getting better fast.
Fathom was a beautiful looking comic book.
And
all of his stuff was. He knew women. Like, there was beautiful women in his comics.
I'm trying to blank on the guy's name that I'm trying to think of. Robert Kirkman, creator of
Walking Dead.
He runs Skybound. He apparently, from what I understand, he's coming out with an X-Men like book. I think it's called Terminal.
Okay.
And
interesting.
It's supposed to be, from what I understand, it's supposed to be phenomenal. So that's a book I'm actually looking for. But again, it's not a Marvel book now. I'm like, when I go in the comic book store, I go once a month. And I have a box. They collect the issues that I want.
Oh, nice.
I get the books, and then I walk through and I walk down the new book line, and I'm just to see what's there and try to see something and I just get overwhelmed by the titles for just one character.
Yeah.
Batman, there's like a ton. Superman, there's a ton. I want to read Superman, but there's too many books. I don't know where to start. Yep. Lady Death is cool too.
Lady Death was a hottie. Yeah. She still got a book out.
They kind of did so she originally came out and she was obviously just like cheesecake, but eventually they wrote like a story for her, and it was a pretty solid story. And then the 2000 relaunch of her, they actually took the story seriously, and she wasn't just like pure cheesecake. So now she has like at least in the early 2000s, she had like a good story and stuff. But it just goes to kind of show, like, I mean, you can take cheesecake characters and do amazingly serious stuff. I mean, as Gaz so well knows right now, Mark Silvestri just relaunched Darkness, right?
Yeah.
And I've been dying to kind of get my hands on those, but once again, 6,000 miles away from the nearest comic store, gotta wait, right? So hopefully, you know, maybe
I'm hoping. I was really looking forward to, like, because Dale Keown was gonna redo Pitt. So come out with a new
right, exactly. Yeah.
But I don't know what happened to that. I had it on my like wish list and it hasn't come out yet. And I'm like, well, that was one book that I just loved. I wasn't big into Hulk, but when I saw that character, I was like, wow, that's a neat character.
That being said, every now and then in mainstream comics, you'll find like brilliant stories and brilliant artists and stuff. You're talking about Angela, Priest, or Lady Spawn? One of those three.
Probably thinking of the Angela.
Well, yeah, one of those three. Anyway, yeah. So even with like comics, X-Men and stuff, anybody here read Extinction Agenda or Extinct Species or Messiah Complex?
Messiah Complex, yes. Extinction Agenda, yes. What was the other one?
Extinction Agenda. It's like Extinct Species. It's the middle one.
I know that one.
It's like where Beast is basically doing the research. Yeah, Lady Spawn was a redhead. Yeah, Priest had brown hair and Angela had red hair, I think. Anyway, yeah, it's like where Beast is like doing a lot of research into the fact that the mutants are kind of phasing out and there's like less and less mutant births.
Right.
But those, like, once again, brilliant writers, brilliant artists. Like Steve McNiven, I think, drew it. I think.
Okay.
And there are always like brilliant flashes of inspiration inside there.
Messiah Complex was the one with Cable, wasn't it?
Messiah Complex was the one with Cable.
Yeah, because that
was good.
Yeah,
that was really good.
That was right after. Was it the one where Scarlet Witch said
no more mutants?
Yeah,
and then there was a baby that was born with as a mutant, and he's being hunted down by Bishop.
Hope, yeah.
What a great story.
So crazy. Bishop, I used to really like Bishop. I started to hate Bishop during that run. Like I could understand his motives, but I was like, come on, man.
It's like, I know Cable's a dick sometimes, but really, you want to kill him?
Yeah. Well, he wanted to kill the baby, not Cable, right?
He did want to kill a baby. That don't make him much better.
True enough.
But
what a good book, though.
I gotta go. I'm gonna end with this. Like, if Zazel, if you have a chance, the new Skybound G.I. Joe and the new Skybound Transformers, and I'm gonna show you one thing from it, if nothing else. That is a German suplex that Starscream is receiving from Prime.
Nice.
And the reason why is because the guy that drew this draws a book called Just Do a Powerbomb, which is focused specifically on wrestling. So
wicked. Okay.
That's
crazy
awesome.
wrestling in there.
That's awesome.
I'll check that out one time. Check out Hans. Sorry, guys.
I was gonna say that's a great time for what's his name to come up and go check that out one time.
Check it out one time, won't you?
Check out Hans Chow's links are in the description. You will not be disappointed. If you like him here, you're gonna love him there.
Yes.
Well,
so our next topic. Anything that Hans wants to talk about, so we can have Hans back on the show because we want to make this a threesome here.
We should.
Gazz Xaz and Hans.
We should watch a movie.
Want to watch a movie? What do you want to watch?
I watched.
Well, the 1989 Captain America.
Yes.
With Ned Payne.
You know, we should watch.
What's that?
We should watch the next Avengers. I'm sure neither of you have watched it, and I'm pretty sure it slipped on your radar, and that's some good viewing.
The kid Avenger one.
Avengers, yeah.
I've seen it. It's good.
You've seen it. Okay.
I haven't seen it. I don't think I have.
Okay. So we should either watch the next Avengers or we should watch the animated Ultimate Avengers.
Do you want to watch it and then talk?
That's good too.
Yeah, we could watch it and talk about it after because I think so. At one time, Warner Brothers Animation Studio was like top dog. And then Marvel started to realize we can't let Bruce Timm kick us out of the animation market. And they tried really hard to beat them at their own game. As far as I was concerned, they were doing a pretty good job. And then Marvel pulled the rug out from underneath their animation department. But those things they did generate while they were there.
All right, what's the one you want me to watch? I'll watch it.
We'll do Next Avengers. That was good, and then we can do another one with Ultimate Avengers.
It's got to be on Disney, right? Because it's Marvel.
No, it's free on YouTube.
Oh, it is. All right,
it's free on YouTube.
Next Avengers.
It's so good.
We'll watch it and we will talk about it next. We still got to do the Stargate show as well.
Yep. Alrighty.
All right, I'll watch that, and then we're gonna do a show on it. Anything to get Hans back on the show.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us, Hans. I know you're not well, but even the sickest amongst us, you still look the best of all of us. So
I'll look even better next time when I don't sound like I have a lizard in my nose.
I don't even bother trying anymore. If I know Hans is going to be on, it's just like wake up and sit down. You know?
No, I feel well. You know.
You guys will always have me beat in the bear department, and in the stuff.
Mine's a bit rough at the moment. But all right, we'll let you go, Hans, and then Gaz and I will close out the show in a moment. But good to see you again, buddy. Get well.
It's good. It's been too long. We need to.
Well, you know what? I'm giving you open invitation for every show, buddy.
Every single show. It'll be the Hans Chell shoots the shit with Gazz and Xaz.
Yeah, we want.
Let's have a heads up.
Right.
Let's have a heads up. I'll be there as much as I can.
I was like, we got to get Hans. Anything to do with Hans.
That's right. It's true.
All right, boys. You all take care.
You take care, buddy.
See you, buddy. Have a good one. Yeah, guys, it has been a while. I've been on vacation, so we get a lot of vacation days with this job. So I'm all over the place all the time. We get to go to Japan a lot. We get to make trips to RonCon. Just recently, we went to check out. I took the family to Bali in Indonesia. They'd never been, and they wanted to go, and my brother was going, so we all we went over there and did that, which is a beautiful part of the country. We actually went. We saw this is funny. We saw an ad for a really relaxing river cruise. Like you're sitting in a I say river cruise, but it's like cruising down a river rather. So the video was we have a, what do they call those inflatable rings? A tube, right? You sit in an inflatable tube and you gently go down this river and you enjoy the scenery, right? That was part of the video. Another part of that video was slowly riding an ATV, four-wheel ATV through the forest. Nice, relaxing day, right? So we book it. The night before, we went out, got all pissed up, and so I was hungover the next day, right? And I was so drunk, my son had to help get me back to the hotel, right? Good on him, proud of him, good moment. Not at my proudest moment, but still. It was a fun night. We went on a beer bus. So we were chugging beers while going around Bali, and yeah, it was good fun. And they had karaoke, so I was going nuts on that. On this bus that goes around, it's all open too, it's like it was all open. Anyway, so the next day we're like, oh, I cannot wait to do this relaxing, I'm so hungover, I can't wait to do this relaxing tube ride and little ATV excursion. It was not as advertised, Gaz. It was white water rafting. We had to paddle for our lives through this white water, and I'm like, my stomach is churning. I was like, this is not on the It wasn't even a tube. No, it was like a canoe thing. And so this is not in the brochure. And I was like, oh my lord. At one point, it was so rough that Xavier came off of his and hit himself against the rocks. Yeah, he was all right. He was brave boy. And I say brave boy, but he's like 20 this year, right? So I was like, well, at least after this. Well, we didn't plan on it, but we did it anyway. I was like, at least after this, we're going to be able to just go on a relaxing ATV ride through the forest and look at the rice fields and stuff. That I can manage. Again, not as advertised, because they weren't four-wheel ATVs. They were dirt buggies, and we were going through mud and jumps and all sorts of rocky and wavy areas. And so I'm like, well, so messed up.
So after, did you like pull up their video and like show it to the guy and be like, this is what we expected?
If I had the wherewithal to be able to do that, if I had the mental capacity after that, I maybe would have. But it was shocking. It was, you know what, it would have been real fun if I didn't have gut rot.
Yeah.
But
but one thing, and then you get that. It's like, you know,
if you are not anticipating whitewater rafting, you are not mentally prepared for it.
It'd be like, oh, yeah, it's a pleasure cruise. I'm in a tube going down a nice gentle river, but you didn't tell me there were alligators in it.
Right? Yes. Yeah. It was not as advertised. Still, I mean, there may have been. I don't recall. There was a lot of climbing rocks and stuff to do as well. But everyone there was super friendly. All the locals are super friendly. It was fun. We actually went to a supermarket that had a time zone and absolutely smashed the. I've got one here. We got a plushie out of the plushie claw machines. We just kept winning.
What'd you get?
Little dinosaur thing. I don't know what it is. But we got like 100 of these things. We had no room in our suitcase anymore because we just kept winning all of these things.
I got one of these. It's like a machine one, right? One on.
Yeah, claw machine thing.
Like it right there. Look.
Oh, nice.
It's a little Gamera.
Oh, that's cool.
Right. Get him hanging right there. He's always there.
Vampire Triceratops. I was all shaken up. So yeah, we've been away for a bit, but we're going to be a little bit more frequent than we have been. So I appreciate you hitting me up, Gazz, going, you know what, it's been too long, we got to do this. And I'm like, you're right, we got to do it. And I sometimes also get inside my head a bit, and you know, got to find the willpower to get into it. But it's always a great time when we do it. So I think next time will be next Avengers, but we won't give up on the Stargate either. We will do.
You're watching the episodes, so you want to get a copy.
Yeah, I'm going through season 1 and the movie. So
yeah, we just do like
just
season,
for comparison.
Yeah, just for comparison.
Yeah.
It's also it's on Prime, but it's also on Netflix now as well. Well, here anyway. I don't know about outside.
I'll double check.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that after the next Avengers. If Hans says next Avengers, it's next Avengers.
It's next Avengers, yeah.
That's right. It was a little fun hangout. Anything else you want to close on before we get out of here?
No, just glad to be here.
Actually, you know what we will close on?
What's that? You want to do the cable song?
Let's do the cable song.
Yeah!
I've got it here somewhere. Here we go.
Wait.
Okay, hold.
I gotta get him because he's right here.
Alrighty, just for Gazz.
We'll rant and we'll roar like true Newfoundlanders. We'll rant and we'll roar on deck and below until we strike bottom inside the two sunkers. We're straight through the channel to Oslo we'll go.
Alrighty, and that brings us to the end of our show. I feel like it's almost the first one of the year, but I know we have done one before, but it just feels like it's been so long between.
You did one a week or two before you went on vacation.
Yeah.
Second one.
There's an O-Ring a Bell coming up, which Nate definitely knows about.
Before we go, I did get some new O-rings.
Oh, okay. Let's see it.
You know
what? I got some stuff for show and tell too. I got one of these coming to Nate. And it's Super 7.
Is that the robots?
Let me just take my background off.
Adam's room?
Yeah. Don't tell Adam that. All right. So I got Super 7.
Yeah.
I've got to send one of these to my buddy Nate. They're not O-rings, so they might not make it to O-Ring a Bell.
I got some Super 7s.
Oh, nice.
And I got this bat with this dynamite. I guess this is a comic convention exclusive. But it was cheap on BBTS. And then I also got in one of these guys. Operation Recall.
Yes, mine's in the mail. Mine got redirected right back to Carson.
Oh,
I don't know why, and he doesn't know why. But we were following it for a while, and then it went to the international hub to get sent, and then it went right back to him again. So he sent it back, but he sent it back on the same tracking number, so I can't actually follow it. But I've got the some cool. I'll explain when I get them. But I also got remember our pal. I'm just gonna lower this. Hello there. What she sees. What's his name? I'm trying. Oh, why is his name escaping me? We saw him at Joe Fest.
You should expand your screen so everybody can see.
I will in a moment, yes. As soon as I remember the name of Adam Riches. So speaking of Adam Riches, he's the one that did the art for this one, and I actually picked up the original poster at Joe Fest. So I had this at my brother's house for a long time, but I finally went and picked it up. This is a great little set. Mostly I wanted it for the dog set. Interestingly, whilst Super 7, the reaction line, is famous for having less articulation, the animals in reaction have way more articulation than the animals that we used to get for G.I. Joe.
I was afraid that he's going to be like this puppy dog right here, which is not articulated at all.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
So these are the ones I wanted. I really wanted it for the robot, and it also comes with some sort of security thing. Security. It says
Paulie says, "All hail, Cobra Commander. May the great snake live forever."
And I also got from my wife whilst we were over in. You know what I found? I found while I was over at my brother's house before I get to this really cool thing. You gave me something to give to Space Commander, and I left it at my brother's house for 2 years.
Are you talking about those guys?
So I finally grabbed them so I can send them to.
You were gonna buy those for him, and I said, "No, wait, I got some. I'll give it to you."
Yes, that's right, and I still have it. So you know what? I'll just take it to him personally when I go and see him this year. And then lastly, my wife got me this while we were in Bali. And it's very cool.
Ooh, Transformers?
From my favorite Transformers episode, The Golden Lagoon.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to do a dedicated video where I do put them all together and do a nice production video of those. But now that we're not monetized,
I'm not gonna.
I don't have to worry.
I just want to show this off to the people right there. You see what that is? That's a Gunstar.
Oh, yes!
That's a not Lego Gunstar.
Sweet.
Look at that thing.
Yeah, it was our anniversary. She could have just smiled and gave me a Vegemite sandwich, but instead I got a really cool Transformers thing. Surprised me with that, which was great. I also got. I'm going to show it on our next one. So I want to do, Gaz, if you are interested, maybe our third one down the line after we do the next Avengers. I want to do one about board games because I want to show off some of the Hero Quest stuff that I got, right?
Yeah.
And Len got me. I don't want to give away too much because I want to show it off on the show. But Len got me something for Hero Quest to do with the dice. It's 3D printed. And I'm gonna show it off live and show you how it works. Why are we not? We're going a whole different route now, Lilith. I mentioned at the front of the show. Yeah, we all want the Gunstar. At the top of the show, we're not going to be catering to the algorithm. We're going to do our own thing, and we're going to have fun doing it. So, long story short, I'll hit you up after the show and I'll give you greater detail. But yeah, we got a little bit extra show and tell at the end of the show, Gaz. We almost said goodbye, and we showed off all these cool toys.
Yes.
I'm going to do a restoration video, and if all else fails, I'm going to send Grover over to Nate, get him to fix up whatever I do to him.
We got any Supernatural fans in the house?
You know, I love Supernatural. You mean the TV show Supernatural?
Yeah. Got this.
Supernaturals. Is it a ghost? Is it a man? Oh, it's a hologram.
What is
Oh,
that?
nice.
I got baby. And the hood opens so you can see the great work that Dean did on his engine. And here's
It's
the kicker. is the back trunk opens. It's got like the little.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's got the little weapons bag in the back. Look at that.
That's so cool. It is awesome. I haven't seen the last few seasons since they.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
I won't watch them.
We went out on a high.
Yeah. But yeah, I had to get that. I was like, I wonder if there's any toys for this. I know there's a couple of pops or whatever, but I was like, dude, I saw that and it was on clearance. I was like, yeah, I'll take that. Thank you very much.
Oh, they got a Hot Wheels one. Imagine if they did a transforming one.
I do have like a little I like a Matchbox version of it too. It's like right here.
That's cool.
My sister signed me up for this like nerd. I want to say a nerd fandom thing like that, and I got one, and the one that I got had.
Oh, nice!
Of it, which is really cool.
I'm just gonna. Let's have a closer look at that. You don't. Nice. Yeah. Very cool.
I'm gonna go all nerd style on you here because.
Carry on my wayward son.
That Dean has the cool mags on his, right?
Yeah. This
doesn't have mags, so this is Dad's car.
Silver paint. Oh, nice.
Baby before baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to get maybe a silver pen and.
No. So,
All right then, guys. I guess we'll cut it. We'll cut it there. We'll reconvene on the next Avengers next episode. I'm sure we'll probably be over on Adams to talk trading cards. I'm looking forward to seeing those Dick Tracy cards.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. But on that note, we will see you next time.
Thanks for
Take it easy. Lemon squeeze.